All right, welcome everyone to another day of Savage Rifts.
Woo!
I'm not quite as loquacious as Mel in the startup and the end, but he will definitely give everyone the know-how on how to play and where to find it at the end of the session here. So we'll jump right in. When we last left our heroes, I say that with quotations. They were able to, at least for the time being, bring some stability to the neutrino generator, and were paid a hefty sum, and were able to get a message back to the Tomorrow Legion to send some help. And we're going to kind of jump back and forth, doing a little bit of meanwhile back at the ranch as we jump between the characters who are already at New Durango and Sir Barry's Fish, who is going to be heading out from the Tomorrow Legion. So basically about 12 hours, I'd say 8 in the morning before the party set off to shut down or fix this reactor, they sent a message to Tomorrow Legion. It arrived at the Tomorrow Legion roughly 8 o'clock the next morning. By the time all of the rift runners and shifters and ley line talkers had gotten all of their information through. So the next day around noon, four individuals appear through a portal at the edge of town and make themselves known. The party would know at least one of them, an old blind ley line walker named Dr. Henrietta Stone. They've used her ley line walker services in the past. It's fairly certain she was the one who did the teleporting. The other 3 are a shifter, a mystic, and a techno wizard. They were sent specifically to look at the neutrino generator. So by the end of the day, they've done some looking, and they've decided that they're pretty sure that it's stable, and the shifter thinks that she might be able to make some arrangements, have other individuals take care of any future clogs, individuals who would be a bit more accustomed to such environs. Around that same time that they get the message back at the Tomorrow Legion base, Sir Barry's Fish is finishing up his officer candidacy training and preparing to lead an expedition to New Durango to set up a small Tomorrow Legion outpost with the hopes of growing. Traveling along with him, he will be traveling at the head of the Porcupine Armored Expeditionary Detachment. It will consist of most of the techs and engineers and scientists from the Porcupine Command, the armored troopers that you were able to recruit, and that's all filled out with some Tomorrow Legion specialists and staff, just to make ends meet and to kind of act as people to kind of all of your accountants and clerics and stuff. So they are going to send out, but due to Barry's Fish being going to be assigned field command once they get to New Durango, he is assigned an expert vehicle operator by the name of Erica McCormick. I don't have a lot of her backstory yet, but she is commanding an ogre construction robot that will act as the party's field command and erstwhile home. It's not anything to take into battle, but it has crew quarters and a bathroom and a lot more durable and rugged than an ATV with beds in addition. So you will probably be you can travel however you want. Barry's Fish in your horse, or in vehicles. It's kind of up to you.
Gotta have my horse with me. Rogers has been a good old robot pal.
Yep, and I will mention the ogre does have a small engineering bay and cargo storage, so you could actually store Rogers. You could carry him along.
Oh yeah,
but
I wouldn't
But
be
yeah,
probably riding 24/7 or anything. So there'd be times where I would not want to be.
yeah.
But
So I'm going to draw. It should only take about 5 days for you to cross the distance. So I'm going to draw 5 cards. Every club is going to add an extra day.
okay.
So we'll go with 1, 2, 3, 3. So that's 4 plus 1, 5, 6. So it only takes you 6 days to get there. So it is actually only April 11th. All right. During that time, that was what day was that? That was the 3rd day, no, that was the 4th. So you're about that 4th day. You're kind of in the middle of coalition territory. You're in you're basically traveling through Kansas with a fairly substantial armored complement and support crew.
Mm-hmm.
While they definitely you can hear over the radio, the Porcupine Command's radio operator is able to pick up on their transmissions, and they definitely know you're there. You can hear over the radio, though, that they converse with themselves. It doesn't look like there are any non-humans, and there don't appear to be any clear insignias. It's not uncommon to see armored convoys traveling. It's a dangerous world, so they actually just kind of let you go. You see some flybys, but by and large, you don't really get bothered by them other than hearing on the radio. During this trip, you would learn a little bit about Erica. She is the 7th of 9 children. All of them are also in the Tomorrow Legion. However, she's the only one who is working in a combat position. The rest are, accountants and things like that. But she's kind of a ditz. She's definitely clueless. And while she doesn't really talk about it, she definitely seems to have some night terrors that you one or two nights while you're traveling, she would kind of you would hear her kind of kind of groaning and in the night, and then she would when she was up in the morning, she would just look like she didn't get good sleep.
Gotcha.
You would guess from from what you've read that she's probably got some PTSD, but she's very capable and accomplished, and she will serve you in good stead. So, is there anything you would like to do while you are traveling? Any sort of, you would know at least some of the Porcupine Command and some of the Armored Command and some of the Tomorrow Legion people, but they are still a bit kind of disorganized, having to work with each other.
Well, I would be taking advantage of some of my training that I had for my leadership role, and I'd be being observant of which people worked well together and which ones don't. Trying to figure out what personality difference may be causing that, so that if problems come up later, I might have a good idea of how to deal with it, or keep certain people, not working too closely together if they're just really don't quite click together.
Why don't you make a notice? We'll just kind of that seems like a reasonable enough. See if you can kind of squirrel out any problems. Okay. Yeah, actually, you would recognize that there are several people, especially in the Armored Command, those robot and power armor pilots. They don't take too well to non-humans. They were okay with you guys because you were helping and because they were in a scary place. But once they're kind of back in the comfort of civilization, they don't particularly care for non-humans.
It's subconscious
It's not
bias.
uncommon, but
yeah, because they were former coalition, so it's still getting.
Oh, actually, no. Some of those armored troopers, were former coalition, and others didn't really want to talk about where they were from.
Yeah, no, it's not uncommon. So I'll just keep an eye on.
So, but that's something that's really the only thing you'd pick up. The Porcupine Command, the radio operator Frankie, is quite capable of keeping everyone informed, and she's also pretty good at reading the mood. The last little bits on that is it's sort of a 3-part force. There's the Porcupine Command, with Boss Ryerson and his wife Gina being in charge of that. The Armored Command with Lieutenant Gren being in charge of that, and then the Expeditionary Command with Buried Fish being in charge of that. The overall command structure is pretty straightforward. It's essentially Gina Ryerson and her husband Boss will each essentially have a vote. Lieutenant Gren will have a vote, and Sir Buried Fish will have 2 votes because he's sort of in charge.
Sweet.
If it comes down to making decisions, that's kind of how that's going to play out. And Buried Fish is given 2 votes specifically so that he can choose to nullify his own vote if he so desires.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I mean, it is the deciding vote, but you essentially have 2 votes so that you can be the deciding vote or no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Traveling across all of that wasteland does take its toll. So why don't you make? I'm gonna make a spirit roll, just a general spirit roll here for the party, or for the whole group. Okay. The whole group doesn't necessarily like traveling through this dangerous territory, but with of the soldiers and the expert guidance that they have from everyone, they're better. They feel better. So, meanwhile, back at the ranch, on the day after you guys are able to take care of the reactor, a quartet of mystics appear out of town and basically talk to you, and they get the three of them that aren't blind go to the reactor, whereas Dr. Henrietta Stone kind of stays in town and kind of gets to know some people. She's an old school marm type lady, so she's pretty nice. It's going to take them 6 days to get here. You figure that it's, the messages you get, it may take them a week or 2 depending upon things, but during that time, what would those of you who are kind of back at New Durango like to do? And actually, you know what? Why don't we just do a quick interlude for what you're going to do?
Okay.
That seems like a good call. So let's go with Mary Arkham. Why don't you draw a card?
Okay. Oh, wait, no, I don't. I click.
Yeah, you just click. You just click.
There we go.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so what did you got? A Jack of Spades.
Yep.
Spades is, so you can either do downtime, backstory, or let's just do downtime. We will do downtime.
Okay.
So you spend your time alone in quiet contemplation. What do you do while you're spending time alone in quiet contemplation?
Oh.
He's quiet.
Yeah, but I mean, what would you, there's plenty to think about. You've been through a lot. What would you kind of be considering? What would you be planning? Maybe. What would you be trying to figure out? Maybe there's a mystery that you can't get figured out. Well, yeah. What do you think Mary would do?
Actually, now that I think about it, I think she'd just get the paperwork ready for all the stuff that we've done.
Oh, sure.
A lot of things that were technically not part of our wheelhouse.
Mission. Sure.
Yeah, so there's going to be explanations needed.
Why don't you make an academics roll? we're going to give you a +1 to that because you're out in the middle of nowhere and there's no one else to do the paperwork.
No, there certainly is.
We'll see how well you prepare for the arrivals. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
not
you
too
think
bad.
you got pretty much all the basics. You maybe have a little bit of inside information from some of the locals about what they have available and who's maybe coming back. And so you are able to get that finished, and here's a bag. All right, Spike. You draw a card.
There's one number.
You there, Brandon?
Oh,
There it goes.
yes.
Oh yeah, you just throw it on the ground. Just throw it out on the table.
Oh, where'd it go? Oh, in the way.
It's in your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to click it, you just click it, not drag it.
That's right. I clicked draw.
Queen of clubs. So clubs, downtime. Your hero broods or is angry about something. What is it, and how does he misbehave?
Well, I was thinking of something else I was going to do, so now I have to come up with something.
We'll still have some stuff you can do like in downtime, just as like matter of fact, but this is just like for the interlude. Like,
Right. Well, I was thinking he wanted to learn how to line dance.
learn how to what?
Line dance.
He just doesn't have rhythm though. That's why he's brooding.
There you go. Yeah, and just not very good at it, and occasionally gets really upset and does break something with telekinesis or something.
Okay. Why don't you make a why don't you make just an arcane roll to see kind of what kind of mischief you're able to provide. Your psychic roll, sorry.
7.
Yeah, you break some glasses and you crack some windows, but it's not overt enough that anyone actually, like, maybe some people know that it's you, but for the most part, no one gets it. But you feel better after you break stuff. A little bit. Just a little bit.
At least for a while.
All right. Midnight. Why don't you draw a card?
All right.
Spades
Ten of
again.
spades.
So you spend some time in some quiet contemplation.
Yes, being out here in the West has reminded me of some of the tranquility of my early life. And it's caused me to reflect on how much I do miss my other dimensions. It's getting hazier the longer I've been away. So I take some time and try and remember at least the good parts, though inevitably the chase and the terror come along with it. So while it's nice to reminisce, I try not to do it too often. It can be painful.
Why don't you make a smarts roll to kind of keep those memories in your brain? And yeah, you're able to remember the main things. You're able to remember real big things. But yeah, some of it is kind of slipping away. You're kind of getting used to this world, and you're not sure if it's just time or if it's actually some sort of effect of the dimensional shift. But you definitely you remember the good times. You definitely remember the good times until the chase. And finally, Buried's Fish, while you're traveling, why don't you draw a card for your traveling? Clubs. So you are also brood or angry. What are you angry about, and how do you misbehave? Oh my God.
For Barry's Fish, be brooding and that.
I know, it's, yeah.
I I think, while he's, was happy to get all this, leadership training, and he's going to have a even more important role in the Legion, and that he can do good with that. He has been kind of brooding a bit that he had to miss out. He's been hearing stories about what all happened with the rest of the group out in New Durango, and that he kind of missed that adventure. So on the way out there, while he was kind of brooding about it, he sort of got the group into a little bit of a trouble where they had maybe got into a little fight either with some monsters or some bands where they probably didn't need to get involved, just so we could take some of his frustration out that he didn't get to have the big adventure out there.
Sure. Why don't you make persuasion or intimidate or taunt, whichever one you think is relevant, to see how well you are at least getting the people to follow your lead, so that they think that the fight is kind of everyone's deal, rather than potentially just you going off. Oh yeah. Some of them are kind of like, I don't know about this, and let's say it's just some dinosaurs or something. It's just some big lizards that don't really appear to be causing anybody any problems, but some of enough of them are like, well, they could be a danger.
Yeah, and then I really brood afterwards because I'm kind of a pacifist, and I kind of, I wasn't meaning to start a fight, I definitely, my temper kind of got the best of me and kind of forced ourselves into having to fight them off because I was being a jerk.
All right. Okay. And yeah, some of them, there's like Lieutenant Gren, the guy in charge of the armored command is a bit, he's not entirely all that happy about about having to do battle when he doesn't think it's necessary, but he keeps his mouth shut, and he talks to you afterwards. And I'm assuming that you're probably level-headed enough to, kind of that you're able to talk it out, and he's able to understand. He's not inhuman. He sort of understands.
Yeah. Whether I talk to him about why I was not in such a good mood, I don't know if I would let that out, but I would take myself,
if nothing else, he'd be like, hey, that was kind of a stupid move.
Yeah.
And
that was a poor judgment on my part, so
yeah.
Take the the blame for anything that, if anybody got injured or anything during that.
And nobody got injured, but several of the power armors ended up getting damaged.
Yeah, it's
just from getting
costly mistake,
scuffled around. Yeah. So we'll say that 25% of your power armors are not broken, but they're
gonna need some work. They want to be fully functional again once we get out there.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so yes. So while Buried's Fish is traveling, what would the three of you like to be doing around town? Obviously, Spike is trying to line dance, but trying to learn how to line dance. But what else would you be doing? That they're going to set up a what's it called? An outpost here. The Tomorrow Legion is. The sheriff also would have deputized the four who went down. Basically, the four who helped with the reactor, for temporary anyway, just until things get settled down.
The people who know the energy that is being thrown around.
Well, I'm going to assume that none of you really, the town doesn't know what's going on. The story that you guys tell is that, like, okay, there's a portal, like, general, there's a portal and a bad thing, and we killed the bad thing, and things are fixed. And most people aren't going to ask questions. They don't want to know.
I kind of thought about helping Jacoby transfer stuff between here and what was the name of the other town?
Black
the other
Mountain.
spot he was setting up his bar.
Black Mountain.
That's right. Black Mountain.
And how are you going to do that?
Oh, people
Well, I
have
don't know.
visas.
He was getting
People
there
are like, you're not
somehow.
the only one with a car.
Yeah, maybe it's just escorting,
But
extra
yeah,
protection.
I don't
Jacoby would
plan on
definitely.
I plan on being the muscle, picking stuff up
Yeah.
for him.
Jacoby would definitely appreciate all the the security.
Protection.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
mighty
why
good.
don't you,
That's mighty good for you to offer to help there, Midnight.
yeah. And so you're able to, yeah, you guys go on some trips. Let's draw a card for the travel there and back, see if anything bad happens. Yeah.
Ooh.
So let's see. You run across
Oh dear.
a group of you encounter an obstacle. So with the absence of those giants, other wildlife has sort of arrived to fill in that gap in the food chain. And it seems that those big those lizards that had you guys had seen initially, those raptors type things, they kind of have started to take over that valley. So I will have you do. I guess, would you want to take them out, or would you just want to try to avoid them?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like I'm overconfident, so I would probably feel okay. Like, oh, I can show off for my friend here and blow up some lizards for him.
Okay, we'll do a quick dramatic task here. So we'll do 3 rounds. You got to get 4 successes. Okay. So first round, you no penalties. You get a good view of them. You have the ability to fly, and they don't. How would you like to engage them, kind of on the approach?
Oh, probably hurling lightning bolts.
Okay.
That sounds like a good start.
Do a lightning bolt attack.
Okay. Is this just like a psionics roll?
It'll be whatever you use for your bolt attack.
Okay. No? That didn't happen?
Oh, there.
11.
Got it. Okay, so we got 2 tokens.
Oh, dang.
Woo.
That's a good start.
All right, that was your first round. So yeah, you're able to actually blast a few of them. And you fire a few blasts kind of into the center of the group, and it splits off into 2 groups. And yeah, now that it's 2 groups, one of them is kind of trying to get the high ground, and the other is going after the jeep, or the kind of the convoy. So you have a -2 to this. How would you like to deal with the split groups there?
Well, I suppose I land and kick up some elemental manipulation, kind of get sparks flying through the air, trying to distract them, and and while they're getting distracted, I take aim at the one charging towards the convoy with my Techno Wizard longsword, I suppose.
Okay, so that'll be a fighting roll at -2, but if you're probably powering that, so that'll offset that. If you're gonna do a bunch of fighting there.
Okay.
So diving into the group, the group.
Big swing.
Boom. That's 3.
That's 3 successes.
A total of 5 that you need.
Actually, you only need 4.
Oh.
Because it's a 3 round. So final round here, you definitely they split off. You kind of got the ones that were going for high ground to be a bit lost in the dust, and you definitely clean through the one at the head of the pack. And so now you're kind of getting to the end of that valley, and you can either kind of keep going and not really worry about it, or you can kind of try to maybe take the rest of them, at least thin out the pack enough to not be as much of a problem to future convoys.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna conjure a big old lightning storm try to hurl as many bolts as I can to either knock them out or scare them off. Hopefully, a big display of force.
Sure. Okay, cool.
Will terrify him.
Yeah, so since you're doing sort of a bunch of stuff, why don't you just do a psionics roll, and that'll kind of cover all of it.
Ching.
That's a success. So it's not as amazing a display as your previous actions, but it's more than enough to scare the remainders away. There's probably only half a dozen of them that run off. While you've been doing this, some of the people on the convoy have been shooting some of them down too.
Sure.
So you make it safely, and you're able to continue transporting back and forth with no trouble over the next several days.
Hooray!
All right. Let's go next. Let's go backwards. So we're going reverse here. Spike, what would you like to do aside from failing to learn line dancing?
Let's see. Just in general?
Yeah, I mean, you got like 6 days. There's like about almost a week to kind of like,
Oh.
that the Tomorrow Legion is going to set up a base here, and you're.
Do I need to draw a card?
No, you don't need to draw a card unless you're going to do something that.
Yeah. I would also like to get an even larger hat, like very comically oversized.
Okay.
Turd
Like right
Ferguson
now,
large.
I already have like a 15-gallon hat or something. I forget how big it is, but I want it.
Okay. Why don't you do some what's it called? Some
Networking, so either persuasion or
yes,
or
yes,
intimidation.
networking.
However, you're going to try to find one. One of the
I
social-
have as a DB. I have or I guess do they know? No, I don't have. Or yeah, I essentially do. And also, I'm a mind melter. Do I get the penalty for mind melter if they know that I'm?
No one knows that you're really a mind melter except for the sheriff and Jacoby.
Okay.
They're kind of keeping that on the lowdown. The sheriff more or less said other people are going to have to register, but you guys, as long as you keep it on the down low, kind of gives you the hairy eyeball and gives Fletcher the hairy eyeball because you're kind of everybody knows that Mary's creepy, but the other two are not.
My search for
just badass.
My search for the perfect hat continues. I rolled a crit fail on my persuasion.
Yes, you
no luck today.
Yeah, you actually you're trying to communicate with a haberdasher through the mind link, and you're just so excited about this giant hat that you just can't even communicate what it is that you want. Your excitement overwhelms you.
And now I'm brooding.
Now you're brooding again. All right, Mary. What would you like to do?
Who knows? Maybe you'll get a conquistador hat one day. Am I doing?
So what would you like to do, Mary, for that week there? Ish.
I did the paperwork. No other actual work to be done. I can't research magic here. I probably can't build things. Don't have enough time.
You could maybe go find some more skeleton bones.
You do. I guess you do have the giant skeleton. There is the one giant skeleton.
Oh yeah, the giant skeleton. That can just be our emergency if under attack thing. Because I am
So are
not
you gonna
making that permit. I guess,
Okay.
I guess drive it here because it would require a bunch of back and forth to get it.
So we will just, if you're going to do that, we'll just assume that while Midnight and Jacoby are going back and forth, they're taking stuff to Black Mountain, and then on the way back, they're able to bring the pieces bit by bit. They're not happy because you didn't skeletonize it before you left, but they'll bring it back. Why don't you make just a spell casting roll to kind of see, just sort of like preparing the skeleton once it gets there, just to make sure it's all good for when you bump it up.
All right. Oh, that my modifier.
Yeah. No, that's fine. 6 is good enough. Yeah, it seems like all of the pieces are serviceable. I mean, it was roasted, just clean through the, it was killed by an electric bolt, so it more or less just stopped its heart. So it'll be a reasonable skeleton for you. At least in the future, I'll try to get something set up for that.
All right.
It won't be immediately though. It'll take me a minute. Okay. So on the 7th day, you are reunited. Once you get there, obviously Buried Fish has to have some conversations with the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
Wants to know who you guys are. Obviously you're Tomorrow Legion, but he wants to know, who you guys are, and how you intend to set up your base, and what the sheriff can actually do to help. Just because if they're going to get people back, having a safe place is paramount.
Yeah, well, when things were hopping here, before everybody ran away from the exploding reactor, like where were some of the hot spots of maybe not so either attacks from outside from any other kinds of trouble, or even within, just like ruffians getting drunk and stuff. Like if we were gonna have some smaller little offices around town, or if we needed to help patrol, where could we best use us to help out with that? Because it's going to be one of our new outposts. We want to have all the people here being safe, and whatever we can do to help out.
Okay, well, we've got some reports of some banditry going on. We also have some farms and ranches kind of farther out that we haven't heard from in quite a while, and due to the issues that we are very thankful that your allies took care of, we haven't been able to make contact with them. So looks like you got a bunch of robots. If you can send those out on patrol around the city just to make sure that the town stays safe, and maybe send a few down between here and Black Mountain to kind of keep that area clear. I think that'd be a good start. Your four allies who came here ahead of time, they've been temporarily deputized. You as well. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Not like you need a star being a cyber knight. Most people will listen to you anyway. But if you guys want to, take care of stuff, I think your big your friend who's a lot bigger than he looks, he's going to act as our local liaison here. Help keep people happy. So Fletcher's just going to basically be kind of the Tomorrow Legion liaison for the time being, since he can speak most languages. But if you guys want to, what's that?
He can't, but he has a spell that allows him to.
Yeah, and he's going to buy a translator too. So that's what Fletcher's spending his time buying a translator and some more conventional equipment, so that he doesn't look like a savage covered in skins and teeth and bones.
Right. Right. Well, Sheriff,
but he's just going to be back there.
We'll figure things out, and we'll get some patrols going on, and help you out here. So I'll meet with commanders of those divisions and get our resources allocated appropriately for that kind of work. So.
Excellent. Well, and you guys really appreciate the work that your team did. Really couldn't have done it without them. I don't understand all of what happened, and they haven't told me all of what happened, but it seems like it was pretty dangerous, and we're lucky that your allies showed up when they did. So whatever you guys need, we'll help it as long as you keep us safe.
That seems like a good arrangement.
So if you want to look at, he would hand you a data pad with kind of a rundown of things in the area, as well as the communication, the contact information for the people to set up the the patrols and stuff. All of the local. Go ahead.
So my number one priority would be to get some fast-moving and scouts out to check out that farm area there and report what they see. So anybody, if they got any flying power armors or hover cycles or anything like that, they can get out there fast and just check out on them and radio back if they're still in range. I'm sure it's probably the radio.
Yeah, the armored command definitely has some terrain hoppers, a predator, and then there's just more than a few hover bikes. So it's up to you how big of a group you want to send. Do you want to send just a couple? Do you want to send?
Just a couple to check it out. We don't want to scare anybody out there with who are these guys coming in, but we don't want to throw a big flag. Hey, there's a giant army coming in. If there's some really bad stuff there, somebody who can get in quick and radio back. If there's problems, do not engage. And if we need more forces, then we'll send them in. But hopefully, it's nothing.
Okay, so you will be able to get some patrols set up. Lieutenant Gren sends out a Predator, flying power armor, and 2 terrain hoppers. They'll be able to cover the distances easily, probably more easily than a hover bike, just due to the terrain. And it'll take them only takes them maybe 2 or 3 hours to get out there. And when they get out there, they say, "There's no one here." And they kind of look around and they say, we're not. They don't want to get out of their power armors to look too close, and as such, they can't really walk into the houses. But no one's there. It looks like everyone's just gone.
Yeah, I'll be looking if there's they see any signs of struggle or damage or.
Let me. I'll roll a notice for them. They got Triax armored units. That's it. Yeah. So we will do a notice roll. They're not going to get the benefit of their STS because they're not really looking there.
Okay.
So their group check. Yeah.
A group of them. So.
They see signs of struggle, but they're very subtle, as if only one person or 2 people actually struggled, and the rest were just essentially something happened to them. And there are some kind of weird-looking tracks leading off to the west. This farm is a little bit south of New Durango, and it looks like there's some. Here, I'll bring this over to the map. That's probably a good call. So yes, essentially, just kind of down there by the Colorado border, actually, is about where that farm is. Yeah, that far. They see some tracks leading west, but they're not tracks like anything they've seen, and they don't have any idea what's going on. They're not, the one replies with, I'm not a tracker, I'm not an investigator. They just pay me to shoot stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll get a team out there to get on that as soon as possible. It's probably going to be us, because
it could be. Yeah, it could be.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to run by
That sounds like my mind immediately went to puppetry. Just a whole bunch of puppeted group of them, and the ones
a bunch of really sneaky DBs that. It could also be some weird psionics or magic control or something. I think we'll put somebody else in charge here, and I'm going to gather up Mary, Spike, and Midnight, and maybe a few extras, gunner people, just a few of them to go with us, and let's go see if we can track.
Oh yeah, and you do have what's her name, Erica, your pilot. She's been assigned to you. So if you need she's not that good at driving, but she can operate pretty much anything else.
Yeah, so we want to probably take something fast out there. Is there room to put some of Mary's stuff out of her trailer into a different vehicle that can get there a little faster? Something that's airborne.
Sure. Yeah, sure. They still have that flatbed hovercraft that you guys used up in the Wild Wastes.
Okay,
so they can put some of that stuff in there, in the back.
Yeah, because we make sure Mary has her mummy and her. I don't know if we'll take the giant, but if it'll fit, but we definitely need Garfield and the mummy for sure, to go with us.
As far as the giant is concerned, yeah, she doesn't think that they can pack the giant into the hovercraft, but she has some of the logistics specialists try to figure out a way to pack it into the ogre.
Okay.
Into the cargo bay there. See if they can maybe figure out a way to do that.
Ogre will be a little slower, so it's probably not going to come with us. So.
Yeah. Just for future, yeah. It only goes 35 miles an hour, but it goes 35 miles an hour.
Yeah. No, we want to get out there as soon as possible.
So there's some hover bike. There's a hover car that has a big box. And you wanted to take just some people with guns, like.
Yep, just some standard soldier types. To go with us. We have plenty of like mystical arcane stuff. I can do some melee. But we don't have a lot of just straight up firepower. Gunners and people with grenade launchers and things like that. So a couple, just in case we need something like that. Just
Well, Lieutenant Gren's probably gonna stay in charge of the base back there. He's gonna send 2 terrain hoppers with you, and he'll have them armed with some heavier weapons than a normal person.
Okay.
He'll have one of them with a railgun, and the other one he'll have a grenade launcher.
Sounds good. I think we have our party to go see what happened to these people at the farm.
Oh, he let's see, the grenade launcher. He's gonna use high explosive. I think that's probably best. So why don't you guys make a? You know what? No, one of the terrain hopper pilots are the ones who actually went out there, so you're not going to actually have to track.
They know how to get there, yeah. Once we get out there, have to track. Then we're going to have to, if we're going to try to follow those tracks, then we'll have to make some rules. But, yeah.
Yes. So I'm just getting these guys set up. I didn't.
So. Poor Rogers will be getting left behind, sadly.
He will be taken well care. He will be well taken care of.
Yeah, by shutting him off. Put him in a nice.
And honestly, he's mechanical, so he's probably needs a little bit of a.
Yeah, I can clean out the dust.
He needs a little bit of maintenance.
Yeah, there's lots of dust from the trail all the way out here. He can use a cleanup and. Check all his connections.
So they're gonna do the whole 9 for him. Let's see. I'm gonna have to switch. X50.
Hey, and if they could install something in there to help with navigation or anything like that, a little extra computer or something, and.
Sure. I will. Yeah. I'll see what they got. They might be able to work with you. They're always up for a challenge. So.
Yeah, because if they can't, he doesn't do much more than act like a horse right now. But yeah, if we can. He's got like a radio in him, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some navigational assistance type stuff would be good.
And they think they can figure something out, especially the Porcupine Command. I mean, they're all technicians, and they're big on communications and
that and or
sensors.
like scanning technology or something like that, if they can put that in there.
Yeah, so. They think they can probably get it'll probably be a modified sensor targeting system, chopped down.
Yep, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Basics. Yeah, that's pretty much what it'll be. It won't have any of the actual target. It'll be the sensors without the targeting.
Right. So I know there's another mod that in one of the other books that once you have the sensor array targeting system, then you can get the one that adds like bonuses to like tracking rolls and stuff. If you want to combine those two. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's not the weapon. There's the core electronics. There's the core. Actually, yeah, we'll just do core electronics because it's got a gyro compass, and it'll just be the core electronics. They'll figure out. They'll tell you what it's going to cost you.
It won't matter this session
when it's done. When it's done.
Yeah,
but they'll get that figured out.
Yeah, I can pay for some of that out of my own pocket if that's. I got plenty of credits right now.
They'll figure out. They'll figure out, it might not be that expensive. If they have the parts, then they're not going to charge it.
Yep.
If they actually, if they don't have to spend any, they won't charge anything. But if they do, they'll do cost.
Mm-hmm.
They're part of the Legion now too, so they're willing to kind of work.
Yeah, if they have to buy some parts from a caravan or something coming down the road or something, or get something, I'll chip in my own pocket out of it for that. All right, let's get going to the farm. Let's not. The longer we wait,
we have a lovely history with farms.
We do.
So we're gonna here. So you guys do come across a dust storm. While you guys there's a big dust storm kicks up as you're getting there, and you are. In the hover car, you're not going to get lost from each other, but the terrain hoppers might have difficulty keeping up. So what is a good way to make sure that they stay in contact?
I would probably order that we slow down a little bit, so just so that doesn't
Okay, sure. Well, you know what? We'll just assume rather than having to make a roll, it's just going to take you long.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So instead of taking roughly an hour and a half, 2 hours that it took the terrain hoppers before, it takes you a solid 5 hours. It was. Let me go to the main page. It is now the 12th of April in the morning. So, yes, cool. So instead of getting there around, you guys probably left at sunrise, and you thought you'd maybe get there by 10 or 11, but it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon by the time you get to this farm. And I don't really have a picture of the farm, so we're kind of going to theater the mind, at least for the exploration.
Yep.
It's a fairly normal looking out, small, farm ranch. It has a silo, a grain bin, a large building that's probably for animals. A farmhouse, and then kind of like a bunkhouse.
Okay.
And it's also got a big garage. Erica is reading the sensors as you're getting close, and she says, I'm not getting any life signs. Not really getting anything. It looks like even their electronics are gone. I'm not even getting electronic signatures.
Very, very peculiar. Unless they're really against technology, even you'd have some electronics out here, I would imagine.
So you guys get there, and the terrain hoppers kind of like the guys in the terrain hoppers. We'll call them 1 and 2. We'll call them Un and Deuce. Un basically says, kind of points out, that those are where the tracks are over there. We'll try not to walk around and mess it up. And then they say, now that the predator isn't here, we're in small enough suits. We can kind of also help you clear these buildings if you need to. But
I think I have them keep a watch, and we'll go into the buildings and see if we can find any clues.
Okay.
But I don't want to spend too long on it, since it already took us a while to get here. We'll probably need to follow those tracks, most likely. But so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time searching every nook and cranny of these buildings for clues. Just because the dust storm slows down.
The hoppers are going to take up position on top of the two tallest buildings. The garage and the animal containment. They're just going to basically post up on top of those and keep an eye out.
Mm-hmm.
Erica's going to stay in the hover car and keep the engine running.
Seems like a good plan. All right. All right. Let's have Mary, you come with me. Spike, Midnight, you go check out one of those buildings over there and report back here on anything interesting you find. If it's really big, call it over the radio if we're out of psychic range, and have us come look at it. Otherwise, we'll just meet back here in a little while and compare notes. And we'll kind of sweep across. How many buildings were there total?
There's a garage, a large livestock building, a house, and then like a bunkhouse.
Okay.
So there's 4 buildings.
So we'll take these two over here.
The terrain hoppers are on top of the garage and the livestock.
Okay. So we'll take whatever 2 buildings are on maybe our left and have Spike and Midnight go on to the 2 buildings on the right.
Okay, so yeah.
I salute and say, "You got it, Sir Daddy-O."
So Spike and Midnight are going to be searching the house and the bunkhouse, and then Mary and Sir Barrett's Fish will be searching the garage and the livestock building, just arbitrarily.
Yep.
That seems reasonable enough.
Sounds good.
Let's see. Sir Barrett's Fish and Mary, you are going to be going. Which one do you want to go into first, the garage or the livestock building?
My gut's telling me livestock building.
Okay.
This is a place to check first.
Well, there you
Okay.
go.
So you go up to the door. It's got one of those big double sliding doors, that most Quonsets have.
Yeah.
It also has a couple side doors as well. How would you like to? I'm assuming you're just kind of like being, safe and trying to make sure you don't get ambushed and stuff.
Correct.
So, why don't you guys both make notice rolls as you're opening the door? It is dark inside. It is. Yeah, it's dark. It's not pitch black, but it is dark. It is. Much more than a few feet from the door. The sunlight is not coming through the door advantageously. So you got maybe 2 or 3 feet of dim light, maybe an inch of dim light, and then the rest is dark.
Well, my goggles I will pump.
Oh yeah, you got multi-optics. Yep.
I don't even remember how much dark sight costs anymore. I deleted off my sheet while it was broken, and they're fixed now.
It's 1.
It's 1 for dark sight.
It costs 1.
Plus
yes.
another one just to turn on the bonus to notice rolls that it gets. I think it has.
So what is it without that?
Plus 2 to sight-based notice checks. So I'll pay 2 ISP, and I'll try to cast dark sight effectively.
Okay.
Actually, since it's I'm using goggles. Well, I can use either one. Not notice to actually cast it, but
yeah, because you can use either your arcane skill or your spirit, I think.
Well, I can use the skill of the item since it's looking. I could actually use notice for the roll.
Oh, gotcha.
Since it's in the form of a goggle.
Gotcha. Yes, but with the rays, you ignore all darkness penalties.
Okay.
And I believe you can see. And you can see invisible creatures.
Yep. So if there's invisible creatures, plus I'll have +2 to any notice rolls in here because of the bonus that the goggles give themselves. So see if I don't. I didn't get the +2
So
in
what
there.
was
So
the
6.
minus?
So 6. All right. And Mary, why don't you make a notice roll too?
What was the minus from the darkness?
It'll be -4.
4. All right. Probably won't say anything, but hey, you never know.
You never know. I rolled pretty terrible. Wow. You did almost as well as I did. Well, I got a 6. I didn't add my +2 in there, so.
So buried fish, you definitely see inside this building. You notice that all of the stalls are empty and that several of the gates appear to have been torn open. You're kind of surprised that there's no blood around. But there just doesn't seem to be anything else in here. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of equipment and stuff, but it's just empty.
The doors are kind
Mary,
of ripped off. Do they look like they ripped off fast or kind of like just slightly pried and broke up? I don't know if my roll's good enough.
It looks like they were ripped off by someone who is as strong as Fletcher.
Okay.
It looks like they just, someone who is absurdly strong just opened them.
I'm certainly not an animal expert, but is there anything in here to indicate what type of livestock they had in here? Do you want me to
actually, yeah. If you look looking around, you actually see several clipboards with lists on them. You can see that there were some cows, some horses, and that's pretty much it. But it seems like most of the time they kept the horses and the cows out grazing, so it's entirely possible that they're still out grazing.
Okay.
The fact that there's no power in here still is kind of weird, but they may be grazing. Looking around into some of those stalls that are broken open, you really don't see much other than, the stalls themselves were like full enclosure stalls.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like the entire, it's like one horse in a big room, so like the actual door is, fully covering and stuff. You do notice kind of a sign of scuffle looking at some of the straw and hay on the ground. Just
the way it's moved around.
Yeah, like it's been kicked about. Some of it's kicked out of, what you really notice is that where after the doors were torn open, it looks like some of the straw and hay was kind of kicked out. Why don't you make a survival roll at -2 for tracking type stuff? Oh yeah. You kind of get close enough and start brushing away some of the straw, and you see some really weird looking imprints in the ground, some footprints.
I want to compare those to the ones leading out west when we get out there, obviously.
Yeah. So you're easily able to remember what they look like. You get a pretty good look. You find one that's really good, nice deep indentation. So that's more or less what you find there. So we'll hop over to Spike and Midnight. Would you like to look at the bunkhouse or the main house first?
Well, technically you're my superior, so.
Oh yeah. Midnight's actually sort of like the Midnight is sort of like the command sergeant major of the unit. So Buried Fish is essentially like the officer in charge, and Midnight, just by virtue of experience and rank, is the non-commissioned officer in charge.
Well, let's go into the main house.
All right. So
sound while I give you a thumbs up. Finger guns.
So when you get to the house, when you get up, are you going to go through just through the front door? Or are you going to go through a side door? How would you like to approach? I mean, it is a fairly large farmhouse.
Whatever door is closest as we're approaching it. I don't really know where we're coming from.
Sure. Well, it's I'm there's Here, maybe I can draw better. Oh, I can draw a picture while we're going. But the closest door is definitely the front door.
Okay, then we'll just go in through the front.
Okay. Getting to the front door, you didn't notice it until you got close, but it's not even closed. It looks like someone sort of pulled it shut, but it didn't quite latch, and it's just sitting there. So it just pushes right open.
That might slow me down a bit.
It's not anywhere near as dark in here. There's lots of windows. So you're not going to take any sort of illumination penalties looking in, but doesn't appear to be any lights in this one either.
Kind of notice.
So why don't just walking in, why don't you make notice rolls? What's that?
Okay. Oh, I was just asking what I was going to notice, but yep, there we go.
A 9.
Yep, Spike, why don't you make a notice roll too?
Oh, why did it go twice? Fucking mouse.
Every once in a while, yeah, it might be the mouse.
Can I do the expanded awareness before?
Yeah, you totally can. That's actually an innate action. You want to do that instead of noticing?
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it in conjunction too, but
I was gonna say that's something I can do both. Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to do the expanded awareness, allows you to see through the walls with your detect.
Yep.
So yeah, if you want to do that, you got the raise.
Please.
You essentially ignore all sorts of. You essentially ignore all of the any sort of magical penalties to seeing stuff and illusions.
Sure.
You can see the invisible, and you can see through walls. Now, why don't you roll your notice?
Why not?
Because you can notice supernatural things that midnight.
Notice 9.
So you guys both get some good stuff. Midnight, you definitely notice just some very clear things. You notice that some of the tables are flipped. There definitely is the sign of some struggle here. And there's actually a tiny bit of blood near one of the tables, and it looks like, someone someone stepped or landed in some broken glass. But they're not here. And Spike, you just kind of notice kind of weird spots here and there that just seem like there's some sort of arcaneness about them, but you're not exactly sure why. It's kind of almost like an arcane scent. Like a smell. It's like an arcane smell, and it's just disgusting to your brain.
I sort of relay. I just go like,
and you think that it's probably been here. You think that even if you walk outside, that you'll probably still be able to smell it with your detect arcana going. It doesn't seem to be.
It is also outside, or it is so strong that I can smell it.
It's almost like it seems like it's the whole area. Not just you think if you went outside, you'd probably still smell it. Even if you went into the other buildings, you might smell it still. It's.
Can I tell where it's centered?
It's not in the house. You know that. You can just sort of like it's been drifting into the house. Let's see, looking kind of through the house more, there's several floors. It's got a basement, and it's 3 stories tall. And it's pretty well armored, so you're pretty surprised that anything was able to, really get in and cause this much damage. But yeah, getting upstairs, you definitely see a lot more, damage. And going into the basement, you're kind of looking around a little bit, and all of a sudden, the ground kind of crumbles a little bit under Spike, and I'm going to need you to make an agility roll at -2.
Ooh, graboids!
To try to avoid kind of falling into the ground.
At -2?
Yes, this is an evasion.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Didn't know it was coming.
Will not go well.
This probably won't for you.
Nope.
Both of us?
Have a D4.
It's just Spike. Just Spike. I ran roll. Only one of you is walking. Yeah, it's Spike falls through and ends up getting stuck in a hole up to about his waist. You can definitely feel ground below you. But it's almost like you fell into a tunnel. It will not take Midnight all that much effort to pull you out, and if you were a little bit stronger, you could easily pull yourself out. So it's not.
I mean, theoretically, I could go intangible and pull myself out.
Yes, you could, or fly.
Telekinesis or fly, but I'll wait.
Yeah. But looking kind of down to the hole, it looks like it's leading straight. It looks like, if kind of looking at the direction it goes, it looks like it's kind of leading sort of towards the garage, the big vehicle garage, and kind of away in the same direction. Like
I just thought of it. I'm going to when I fall in the hole, I look at him. I go, "Can you lend me a hand?"
What would you do if I sang out of tune? So that's, you find that out. You figure that out, and I mean, it looks like the hole goes quite a ways, but it would be tough for anyone bigger than Spike would have to kind of crouch down to get through. Even Spike would probably have to take off his glorious hat. So that's more or less what you find in there. We will go back to Mary and Sir Varied's fish. You guys all have radios too, so you can communicate with each other. Or, I mean, some of you have radios at least.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything enough that I need to tell them right away to distract them. But
okay.
I don't know if they feel this differently with finding that hole leading towards where we're at.
Well, actually, it's leading to the garage. You guys are in the livestock.
The livestock, yeah. So we're not. I mean, we were gonna check the garage out at some point. So.
Yep.
But it's up to Midnight and Spike whether they think it's important enough to tell us or not.
Yeah, are you gonna tell them that there's a hole?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a big hole in here, and looks like maybe a scuffle as well, and I think maybe a tunnel. We're gonna check it out.
A tunnel, interesting. Yeah, we found signs of a bit of a scuffle over here and some tracks in here that looked similar to the ones leading west of the farm. So, holler if you need anything. We're gonna go check out the garage now.
Alrighty.
All right. So entering the garage, you've got your full night vision, your full dark vision, and your +2 to notice. So why don't you make a notice roll? And Mary, you can make a notice roll at -2 because there's some windows here. It's just dim.
How about a 7?
And a 6. Okay. You both notice things, kind of in different methodologies. Sir Varied's fish notices some physical things, and Mary notices some quasi-arcane things. But they're both centered on the same area, and that area is a large generator. Sir Varied's fish can tell very clearly that the generator has been destroyed. Looks like it's been melted by something.
Melted?
And the meltiness
What a world.
The meltiness is kind of triggering Mary's kind of arcane senses a little bit. Kind of like not it's, you're not sure why. But that's pretty clear. You figured out why there's no power.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to work.
And looking around the generator, you actually find a hole in the ground.
Yeah,
and it bears a striking resemblance to the hole that was described to you.
Can I kind of lean down with my dark vision and then look through the hole back to where it's going to?
Yeah.
Just to see if there's...
You look down, and it looks like it goes on farther than your sight can kind of just see. And it kind of starts to slowly curve to the south. probably 100, 150 yards down the way.
Yep,
that's
a hole in the ground. That's a tunnel.
But the tunnel is heading west, sort of towards the direction that apparently the tracks were leading. So you don't really see much in here other than the fact that all of the vehicles seem to be here. Some of them seem to have had their tires, like destroyed. Some of them seem to have, had some of their windows smashed out, but it doesn't really seem like they're, they were not, they were definitely not being used. So,
so we will go get my.
So we got something that tunnels, and possibly something else that burrows, and they may be one and the same, and they may be different. Did I see any signs of? Sorry, go ahead, Mary. You.
Like, how big is this hole exactly?
It's probably about 2 feet in diameter. But once Barry's fish kind of like ducks his head under there, it looks like it's probably about maybe 4 feet in diameter. Like I said, basically Spike could walk there without crouching down. But like even Mary being a little bit taller than Spike would probably have to crouch down.
And I would have to basically crawl, probably.
I was thinking if it was big enough, I was thinking about just sending in Garfield with a mining light and just sending him along through the tunnel, but that doesn't sound big enough for that.
You think, yeah, it would be difficult for Garfield would essentially just have to crawl through too.
That wouldn't.
Mountain lion's probably 3 feet in diameter, 2-3 feet in diameter.
Anyway.
Did I see any signs of those footprints near this hole? I'm trying to piece together whether we're doing with two different types of things or.
Yeah, actually, yes. And it does appear like there are several of those emerging from the hole.
Okay. So it walks and burrows. It's not a giant worm, then it has feet.
It seems to have feet, yeah, but you would guess from just sort of like the way that the tunneling is, it's probably just as good at going on. It, if it has feet, it's either not very tall or it can go on all fours.
Yeah.
Or 5s or 7s or.
Yeah, however many.
It could be a centipede.
Yeah.
Giant centipede,
or it could be a shapeshifter, and it has 2 different forms. Who knows? But okay.
So then we will have the Spike and Midnight. Are you going to check out the bunkhouse?
Or are you trying to follow the tunnel?
I feel like we'll probably follow the tunnel and then run into y'all there, right?
If you follow it to the garage, you would basically get to, and Barry's fish would see you coming looking through the hole then probably.
Yeah, about that time.
Right.
So yeah.
So
Spike definitely is able to walk. What's that?
If we see them in the garage, then I would assume we'd probably turn around and go to the bunkhouse.
We all go there together.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, like this is how this is where this goes. So there's only one building left.
Well, you're a little dirty now.
Yeah, Spike would have been able to get in there, and as long as he took his hat off, he would have been able to walk without too much trouble. But yeah, but Midnight is just way too big. Your wings would be catching on the side of the tunnel. Sure. You would be just totally dirty too. You just covered in dirt. So the bunkhouse appears to be, looking in. Why don't y'all make some notice rolls here for the bunkhouse? No penalties for light. It has a lot of windows, many of which are broken out.
I'll take that 10.
That's pretty good.
All right, Brandon, you want to roll a notice?
I do.
Okay. So pretty much everyone except for High Noon.
I still have the expanded awareness up too.
Yes. And the smell, now that you've kind of gotten going, the smell is, you think it's coming from kind of out just west of town. You're not exactly sure, but it seems like that weird smell is kind of coming from sort of the west side of this farm. You think you also might have been smelling it through the tunnel too. You're not sure. But everyone except for Midnight definitely notices. Well, I mean, everyone notices that there's been a scuffle in here. There's a lot more things tossed up. But everyone except for Midnight also notices that there's like several like gun cases on the walls, and it looks like they've been, opened and it looks like the gun cases were opened and guns were handed out incredibly quickly, to such an extent that some of them are still there. But there's a couple lying on the ground. Just laser rifles and ion guns and stuff. Real simple, straightforward stuff. But those of you who got a raise, you actually are looking through some of the documents, and you see you kind of are looking around, and one of these people living in the bunkhouse had mentioned that a lot of cattle had gone missing lately on the West Range. And they're eventually going to have to send someone out to check it, but without having contact with New Durango in in some time, we don't necessarily want to go out there without letting town know. So yeah, seems like cattle on the West Range seem to be disappearing. There's a lot of tussle and things broken up here, and there's some footprints and a tunnel
leading west.
The tunnel leads mostly west, but then it kind of curves to the south a little bit. At least from what Barry's fish could see, it basically, he could see as far as it went, but then it sort of started to turn and he couldn't see around the corner.
Yeah.
And getting out to where the one guy pointed, where Oon pointed out the footprints, they appear to be pretty much the same as the ones that you saw in the garage and in the animal barn.
Well, we need to follow tracks or tunnels, whatever we need to figure out where they went. And I think we found all we could find here. Let's not dilly-dally any longer. We're gonna have to take it kind of slow, so we'll keep the hover car back. If we need to get into it in a hurry, so otherwise we don't want anything accidentally covering tracks. Let's just get moving. You that can potentially see through walls, so like maybe see through the ground, and so we don't have to crawl through tunnels. Maybe you can see if there's any more tunnels through the ground. And let's get tracking. Does anybody else have anything they need? Thoughts before we get moving out?
Erica says that she could probably drop a drone in the hole.
Oh.
If it's, she's the way you describe it being small, she could drop a small motorized drone with a camera attached, run down there.
Fantastic. And we'll stay up.
She said that will it'll kind of take up. It'll be a good thing to keep her occupied, because she's going to be driving slow and she doesn't like to drive slow.
Yeah.
Okay. She will try to. She's got it connected to your guys' navigational computer, so that you can kind of see where it is in relation to where you are.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you? These footprints are definitely a day old or more, so your survival roll is going to be at a -2 to follow them.
All right, we do have some potentially some bonuses just because we have a drone following some tunnels, as long as they're going the same general area. So
yes. Yes. But just for the above ground tracking, yeah, it'll be at a minus for at least for this one.
Well, I have D6 -2 with the penalty here. Is anybody's any better? want to help? Can assist support roll on this?
I have a D8.
All right, why don't you be the main one then?
I also have D8.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So it's up to Jordan how many of
I
us can
took most of the
assist.
smart.
I would say two. You could have two people assist. I think two gives you the option to get the maximum bonus, but it also doesn't really give you.
Well,
so I'd say two people can assist.
Well, here's mine, and I failed. Let's throw one Benny at this.
Is it? You said it's at a -2.
It is at a -2.
There we go. I'll take a 7. I'll give +1 to the primary.
9.
Oh, I had
Your
stealth.
stealth and survival are the same. Are they
I
both the same? I assume.
Stealth? I thought you said.
No, this is survival.
It is
my
I said survival.
Yeah, I just hit they're right next together, and they're both D6. So
They're both D6. Okay, cool. So that's a +1, and
A +2.
Spike.
+2 from me.
yeah.
I can't help.
Actually, it's only +1 because it was a -2, not a +2.
Didn't I put in -2?
You put
Oh,
plus.
drat.
That
You're
is
right.
my. Oh
Right.
yeah, it is.
So
So
it's plus.
0
Yep,
penalty.
right.
Brett will have no penalty, or
Yeah, that's
Midnight
worth
will have no penalty.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
+1 from both of us. Yeah. Okay.
And
No,
Spike
didn't
needs
work.
all the bennies that he can get. So
Right.
nice.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Where the bennies
You definitely Spike kind of, or not Spike. Midnight kind of takes off into the air and gets a really good aerial view of these tracks and is able to actually able to follow them a little bit better than the others just because he's not walking. And it definitely leads kind of west and sort of turns south and kind of communicating with Erica. It seems like it's kind of about the same path as that tunnel. So you're able to.
And now I'm starting to go back to the idea that there are potentially still two different things, or some of them are going above ground, some below ground for some reason. It's very odd.
Well, how else are they going to drag the bigger thing?
Yeah, or they came in underground and then they went back above ground. I don't know. Are the tracks going both ways or just away?
They're just going away.
Okay, so maybe they came in through the tunnel and we're going back the other way. There's a drone
Good
pic.
attack,
I asked
Brandon.
our pilot if the drone sees any signs of tracks inside the tunnel and if they're going a particular direction. I'm not expecting tracks down there the way they probably are moving, but it's worth checking out.
Sure, I will have her make an electronics.
Yep. Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, boatloads of tracks. But they're all going towards the farm.
Okay, that
Yep.
makes sense. Okay, snuck in through tunnels, and now that they got everybody, there's no need to hide anymore. Awesome. Well, mystery solved. There.
All right, so your traveling continues. Bear with me, I'm just kind of checking some things here.
Gotta check those notes.
Yes, I want to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. Okay, yeah. So you're able to actually travel a ways, and then you get to kind of like you're able to travel probably like 4 miles. Let's say 4 miles. To along the way until you get to a place where it's really rough terrain and the tracks just disappear.
Yeah.
There's a fair number of bluffs and crags and valleys and draws around here. And yeah, the footprints, it's just like they disappeared.
It's like this video was just like the ground, the type of terrain here is not going to hold footprints. It's too rocky.
Yeah.
And no other signs of like drops of blood on foliage or anything like that.
Why don't you guys make notice rolls while we're walking here? to see if there's anything extra that isn't.
Yeah, obviously they're not footprint. There might be something else.
How many minutes has it been since I started my expanded awareness?
4 miles, going slow. We'll say it's been 16 minutes.
Okay, I guess I don't have it on this whole time. If we're
okay, yeah, because you're traveling overland now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, as long as it's been less than an hour.
You can turn it on whenever you want, though. It's an innate, so you can kind of just do it whenever.
Yeah, but it costs a PowerPoint to do it, so.
Yes, it does.
All right. So, but since I activated my goggles, it's been less than an hour then.
Yeah. It's been, like I said, you've been traveling about 4 minutes. You've been making about a 4-minute mile. Really, it's only because Midnight has been able to follow from above.
All right. I'll keep my +2 for my goggles then. It lasts an hour.
Yep. Yeah, okay.
Beat that.
Yeah, Midnight and Spike can roll notices, but Buried's Fish and Mary do seem to have. Yeah. Buried's Fish definitely notices some broken terrain. Some branches here and there, like, some tumbleweeds or some sagebrush that looks like, something barreled through it. Or that something was dragged through it. Mary and Spike with that raise.
A couple pieces of bread that somebody left behind as they were tearing off. I'm just kidding.
Yes, small. Yeah, well, they ran out of pebbles, dude. Yeah. So, Buried's Fish and Mary actually do notice a couple splashes of blood, but they look to be a day or two old because they're sort of dried and they've been covered with dust, and you weren't looking right where you needed to be. You wouldn't have. It would have just looked like, maybe a wet spot in the dirt or something. But there definitely is some blood along here.
So I get a little farther this way with that.
And before you can really do anything else.
Dun dun dun.
Let me make sure I have everything. So that you only see the things that I intend for you to see, and I need to turn.
Don't forget Garfield.
Oh no, I've got all of your. I've got Garfield, and you didn't bring Rogers, so.
No, I do not have Rogers. He would not get out here fast enough.
But you do have Mummy and. Cat. I'm just going to use Erica as the token for the hover car.
Okay.
And
yeah, so she had to. Her and the two power armors had to stay back to not accidentally cover up tracks with their.
Yeah.
Oh, there was tracks in your hover car. Just blew dust and covered them all up.
All right. So you guys are in. Stop. I don't know why this is doing. Hang on just a second. I have to reset my. For some reason, it's. Every time I'm left clicking, it's bringing up the edit thing. It's like double clicking.
Oh yeah, it didn't register a mouse up at some point or something.
Yeah. Well, I've got it. I've got the scroll and the zoom set opposite what it.
Oh yeah, you turn that option on. I did that for a while, and then I stopped
I like
liking
being able to zoom in and out. Yeah.
Yeah, it kept messing me up, so I switched it back.
It's too much like so many other things that I use that have the right click zoom that I just. Okay, so where's Mary? Okay. So you guys are kind of all traveling forward. We're gonna say that yeah, Erica. If we need the power armor pilots, we will add those guys in. Bring you here. Everyone see?
I'm zoomed in way too much. There we go. Yeah, I can see.
So this is sort of like the gray, the light brown is just sort of like dirt and stuff, and the dark brown is like a bluff.
Okay.
And you can see flying over the bluff, or actually not flying over the bluff. As you sort of get close enough, yes, that guy and that. Okay. Yes, you are going to get shot at.
We're getting shot.
Oh no, that's not good.
Oh, I need to change my color. I'm the same color as the ground.
Yeah, you're exactly the same color as the ground. I couldn't see any pings.
Okay. So yeah, you guys are going to get shot at.
I don't like that.
I mean, to get shot.
I don't like getting shot.
I don't like getting sniped.
I'm going to say that I'm going to roll a D2. 1 is going to be Buried Fish, and 2 is going to be Midnight.
Lame.
All right, so the Mummy and Buried Fish are getting shot at.
Oh no! Not the mummy.
Well, yeah.
Get behind the mummy.
Just stay behind the mummy. You'll be fine.
So it does not hit the mummy.
Oh.
And do you have?
Telekinetic.
It is a TK rifle. Does that work? Does your cyber awareness affect TK stuff?
It would be probably because there's still I guess. What is the weapon?
These are definitely not technological in any way.
Right. So it's probably not, unless the device that it was converted from to make it into a.
Oh no!
Had electronics in it, like.
No, these are just made by the Queen. At least that's what the book says.
Yeah, probably not then.
15 AP4. And it is Megadam.
That ain't good. So that would be a raise. Or like not the hit, so it would be 1 wound.
One wound?
I will attempt to soak this wound. I don't want to get injured right off the bat. All right, Vigor. Come on. You're not that great, but come on. Yes!
All right. So no wound. No wound. You are not wounded. But now you can see up ahead of you on this bluff. They're probably a little bit closer.
Yeah, they'd have to be to actually see down. Depending on how high it is, they'd have to be pretty close to the edge.
Well, this side is angled.
It's angled a bit. There you go.
Yeah, I would say that this whole thing is about a 35-degree angle upward, 35, 45-degree angle upward. So if you're wanting to go up this hill, if you can't fly, it's going to be difficult to.
Got it.
1 to 2 sort of ratio thing. So, but you see 2 very large. They have a here.
I don't think they do. Stupid bugs.
Yeah, they do not have any sort of fear check, so you don't have to make any fear check. But why don't you guys make common knowledge roll to know what you already know?
Common.
And we're going to say that you guys have enough. You guys have enough training about the things in the wildlife to offset any penalties you have.
Oh God.
Okay.
Psych and Midnight definitely got.
So Mary Arkham has really no idea what these things are.
Fucking Psytexix. No.
Yep, they're the Psytexix. They are a group of extra-dimensional insectoid creatures. No one really knows a lot about them, but they're definitely dangerous. They're very territorial. It's almost certain. Like now that you see where this is led, it's pretty clear they tunneled in. They used their acidic spit, which Midnight and Spike would both know a few more things. They've got acidic spit, and when one of them is killed, they leave off a scent, like a death scent. They also have a scent that they can use to trail. Every one of them sort of leaves a trail scent.
Would those that got raises on their common knowledge also probably know that there was no known hives out this direction before, and this is
yes, no. The most of the known hives are up in Canada, actually, like in the northern part of America. Yeah. So it's it's not exact. I mean, it's uncommon to see them out here, but it's not unheard of.
Yeah.
They are from another dimension, so they could potentially be popping out from other little holes too. But these seem like a small group. But you would guess, yeah, they snuck in. They took all the people by surprise after shutting off their electronics, and they're not geniuses. They're essentially incapable of human speech, but they're not. They're intelligent enough to fight.
Well, so we need to take these down, and then we have to pray they don't have a giant hive somewhere. And if they do, we got to take that thing out before it gets too big.
Okay, so we got turn order. Okay, so I forget how I do this. I drag everyone's token and then add turn order, or is that what I do?
Just select them all the tokens you need to put on there, and then right-click on one of them, add to turn order.
Gotcha.
Tracker. That's the quickest way. Make sure they're all selected, and then so you don't have to do it one at a time.
Yeah, I can't right now because there's too many in the middle, but that's okay.
Okay, one at a time works too.
Since Buried Fish has command, he will Erica and the others will act on his turn, so we don't have to add more. Okay, so let's
see some cards.
So how do I do this? I forget.
You should be able to just deal and then pick to turn order items in the deal card menu. I don't remember exactly what it looked like because I don't have that option as player.
Yes, gotcha.
There we go.
Okay, so Midnight needs a new card.
Yep, this one you can draw and drag over. Once you get one that's big enough.
Yeah. And Mary definitely is not getting that ace of hearts. She gets a 6.
Yep, you're just a little too cautious.
Go ahead of them, though.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so Buried Fish. You can see 2 of them, but you would guess that if there were enough of them to take out that farm, there's probably more than 2.
Oh, yeah.
And the tracks that you saw, there's more than 2.
Yeah. I just wonder if this bluff is actually a hive in creation or if this is just some scouts and there's only a few. But since I just got shot, obviously the first thing I have to do is get some deflection and cyber armor up. So cyber armor's free action. Kick that up a notch. Deflection. Item, yeah, we're gonna cast that as the first one. Let's see, do I want to do anything else? Turn on my Psi Sword as well. That should be also free action. Don't know if I need to fly just yet. So, let's then also ready my. Let's not worry about the Psi Sword yet because I'm too far away. Let's pull out the laser bow and take a shot with the laser bow. laser bow is probably gonna. So I'm actually gonna be had probably lots of penalties here. Let's just pull it out and not actually shoot this round, so that I only have a -2 penalty to my roll on deflection.
Oh, for is it range or
wait?
For
it's deflection
multi-act?
innate. Okay, I can do 1 innate for free. So never mind.
Yeah, deflection. Yeah, you can. Well, you can. I don't know. Yeah, I think the cyber armor is just free.
Yep, cyber armor is just
And
free.
then-
Innate will then count as free because I can do 1 of those per turn. So
I believe you're right. Yes.
So I can actually.
Yes,
No,
you're right. Yep.
I could take a
Yep.
shot at -2 and pull my gun out because nothing else. I only have a -2 penalty to shoot this way. Everything else is free. I'm gonna do that. All right.
Is the -2 for range?
Because the pulling out the bow won't be like a free ready action. It's not something quick like a small pistol to pull out. So that's
Anything's a ready action. Everything's a ready action.
like only if something that's easy to get to. Like pulling out a rifle counts as an action.
Pulling out a rifle
Like
is a ready action. I'll check it because it says you can pull up pretty much everything from a ready action.
Unless
to
that's
get to.
changed between the Deluxe and Suede, like if like
It has.
So
It
anyway,
has.
let me cast the deflection here first, and just I will put an extra point in to get a bonus to the roll. Which is...
Characters may ready up to 2 items per turn as a free action. Readying means drawing, holstering, or otherwise moving an item into or out of familiar or easy to reach location. Each additional item readied is an action. So yeah, I mean, if your bow is easy to reach,
Yeah,
it's ready action.
I guess it is. So let's get.
I would say if I was going to do it, if you think it's that difficult, then just have it count for both your ready actions.
Okay. I will spend 4, so I got a bonus to my roll here. If it goes off anyway.
Oh right, yeah, you got major too.
All right. It's just to speed this up. I'll add it in afterward.
Cool.
So it's an 11 to the roll. So that'll be with the raise on the deflection. It'll
Yep.
be -4 to hit me now. It's my.
Okay.
And then I will shoot my laser bow. That is a miss, and I'm not going to waste my bennies just yet. I don't know if there was any.
Yep. There's really no penalties. They don't seem to be taking cover.
They were in the second range anyway, so I got a 1 overall.
Oh, they were. Gotcha.
I am going to move closer though. So let's go to my. Actually, I have a bigger pace, 8. Yeah, so I'll go 2 more inches.
Yeah.
Pace of 8.
It's an action if you're retrieving an item from a difficult location, such as an ankle holster off the floor after being disarmed, or other extenuating.
Yeah.
So I think it's really only if you're like.
It's on a strap around my shoulder, so it's not that hard.
Yeah. I think anything that's man portable, more or less.
Okay, I am done.
All right, midnight. You can see at least 2 of them. And if you're flying, you can kind of, Are you there, Brett?
Yeah, sorry, my driver is. Brett. Sorry, not Brett.
Brett available.
Sorry, I accidentally muted there. Yes, I am flying, I think.
Okay.
I've got 2 actions, so. What to do?
Yeah.
How high would you say that you're flying off the ground?
Probably like 12 feet.
Okay. Why don't you make a notice roll? Why don't you just make a straight notice roll?
Notice.
Okay. Yeah, you actually see several more of those things on up. You have a high enough vantage point. You see 4 more of them. They're farther back. But you definitely see they're farther back in this bluff. They look to be kind of in cover. Those below you probably don't see them.
I will also move forward then, and then activate my shield, my lightning shield, or electrical aura, I guess, for an action. And then I'll cast deflection as well. First things first, I'll move up here. My aura, and then cast deflection. Oh, I'll Benny that.
Hang on just a second. Someone's knocking on my door.
There we go.
And the dog is not happy about it either.
Round one, also known as the round where everyone casts deflection.
My armor is slightly glowing with the same color of bluish light that my scythe sword does, and my wings if they ever appear. Rough.
Thank you.
So here's that pizza that I was talking about with your dad.
Cool, thank you. Yeah.
And it's Jordan, right?
Yes.
Okay, I was like, I know it's Josh and Jordan. I just couldn't remember which one.
Yep. No, it's okay. Even people who don't know I have a brother named Josh call me Josh.
Amazing how much I get called Jason.
Nice. All right. Yeah, Jay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'll let them know. They'll be home later today. So.
Okay, sounds good.
Excellent. You have a good day. Thanks.
I'm hearing voices from another dimension. This thing called pizza or something. Was that what? Did I hear that correctly?
Sorry. I
Must be another thing to shoot.
Yeah, we're gonna kill some pizza and some Zytixix.
Okay. So you put on the deflection for midnight is that's just an innate for you, right?
No, it's a full action, so that's all I can do. Yep.
Did you want to move anywhere?
Right.
Oh, you did.
I moved a little bit closer, so I think that's good. I think that's my turn.
All right.
Hope we're not getting too far away for speeding up.
I am going to do some things behind the scenes because not everyone's at the party yet.
Oh.
Secret things.
At least we're too far away to be hit by burst. Or blast, whatever the spell's called. Blast.
And midnight's in the air too. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am, but
Okay. Spike.
I would like to move my base.
Okay.
And let's see. So 6 inches.
Do you want me to move you?
No, I'm just I was going to declare my whole round first. I just wanted to make sure that.
Word.
Everybody will be in range once you get there.
Yep.
You could also pay 1 to double the range and 2 to triple the range of any of your powers. So
that's true, though my range is my smart. So everybody's within 10 of me when I move. 6 inches.
Yep. Do you want to just move to him?
Yeah, can you just move me the 6 inches here? And then I will cast speed, and I will cast at a -2, and I will cast.
Change mine to reds and sure.
I will also cast deflection. Yes.
We don't want getting.
So you're
shot.
gonna do speed. You're gonna do speed at the penalty, but then deflection. Hopefully at not.
Hopefully at not. Yeah.
Cool.
I'll pay the 4 to offset the
penalty.
The multi.
For the speed one as well.
Okay.
So the speed one. Problem loading the file or it's not loading the pages I want.
Do you have a boatload of PDF pages open?
No, I just Didn't want to do that one. Okay.
Which one are you?
Full speed.
Let's try to open one of the spell handouts, and it's being slow.
Yeah.
It does that sometimes.
But I got it. I will. Let's do the full 9 yard guy. I will. So I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 5 additional things.
Okay.
So it's normally 2, so it'll be, or yeah, 7 just for all of us, plus exalted quickness, which is 11, plus greater speed, which will be 13, plus 4 to offset the penalty. So it'll be 17.
17 power points.
But I'm giving us the greater speed, so everybody can just run die. You don't have to do a run die. You just
get the max.
You roll at max. Now, if you don't get the raise, you still take the running penalty.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good.
So this will cost 17.
Or 3 if it crit fails or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or 5 actually, because you have.
Yep. 5. Yep. Mm-hmm. Bajam. 10. I'll take the 10.
And there's a raise.
Okay, so with the raise,
everybody gains the nimble.
You do not have to take the multi-action penalty for running, or the running penalty. Also, all of you have the nimble character quality.
Yep.
Meaning that everyone is you are all -1 to be hit by attacks.
Oh, yay!
So -5 to be hit now. Woo!
Yep. And also, did Midnight get a raise on his as well?
Yep, I sure did.
I forgot.
So,
I was going to get
-5 to you guys.
I was going to add the shroud too, but that's okay. We'll live with just that where we're at.
You'll live with being nimble.
Let's see.
Where's the foot?
Find
the foot first.
40.
Then you got reflection.
And then I will cast. I'm gonna cast the greater deflection, or whatever it's called.
Did you see all the new
the upscaled one?
Yep. So if you get the raise, it's -7.
8.
8?
If you get the raise, it's -6.
Oh, you're right.
It's the armor that's 8 on
it
the
is
raise.
-6. Yeah, you're right.
No,
but it's -4 because 6. So
because of nimble. It's 7 because of nimble.
Oh, that costs 6.
Well, yeah,
so.
we won't need it. We can worry about that when he's attacked.
So this one will just cost 6. I'll take it.
Okay, so yeah, you do get a 6.
Eat my food.
So it is now a -7 to.
Yep.
Bitches. Okay, that's it.
You're -7 to hit.
Yep.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's amazing.
You are a cruel person. Giving them so much hope. Of course, if you roll a double 1.
Zap zooing around super fast.
At midnight, you should add to your token that lovely new blue bird icon I made.
Oh yeah, I'll take it. Bluebird.
Right, so
for flying.
We are now rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go. Gotta follow my rainbow.
All right.
My favorite new one that I put in was the squirrel for distracted.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that you have it as.
Oh, nice! I hadn't even seen those at all. That's awesome.
And they're all labeled too. That's dope. That's dope, man.
How do you put the number on those?
You just hit one, either 0 through 9, and it puts the
number.
While you're hovering over the icon in the icon selector.
Oh.
You can put how many rounds it is.
Cool.
Boost, lower. Oh yeah, that's really handy. And Bluebird is specifically for flight.
Cool.
Incapacitated and entangled.
All right, Mary.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
It is to you now.
And I have 3 actions with which to perform.
Yep.
I'm not going to bother putting any
Just do
protections
your
on my
allies.
mummy. Yeah, see here. I just send in mummy to charge, and so for now. See here. So double with maximum speed.
Double with
Okay, so
yeah, you can go double with his maximum run die with no penalty.
So
Difficult terrain once you get to
6, 12,
the brown.
Yeah, it will be a 1-to-2 ratio once you get to the edge.
The steep hill.
So what's
11.
what's his pace in running?
It's 6, and he's got the standard running die, which is also 6. So it's just
6 and 6.
6,
So
12,
he's
18.
total, but he's got. We'll say that's 11 to the edge. He can essentially go 6.5 more.
Yeah, almost looks like he could get to either one of those.
I think he could get to one of them. Yeah, he could get to one of them.
All right. Well,
Whichever one you want, he can get
That
that far with.
That is a scary fast mummy.
Scary fast mummy.
Yep.
Yes.
Although I think he can only attack once, or is it twice?
He can attack 3 times. He's got 3 actions, dude.
Oh, I thought there was a rule where you can only
he's still
use one weapon.
see having the. We got the race, so there's no penalty to running either, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So he can do 3 attacks. He just won't be able to move to the other one if he kills the other one right off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
He's out of movement.
Out of curiosity, is that salvage Vibrasword still glitchy?
No, you would have been able to get someone to repair it during the week that you had it.
I meant to ask that.
We will hand wave that one just because there was a lot we were doing there.
I would have wanted.
I think I already yes, and I also yes, he would have also Fletcher would have taken back his railgun, but the mummy you would have been able to find a cactus juicer Bandito Arms railgun for him to use for the mummy. It's like a shotgun, and you guys just met a Bandito Arms person, so he's willing to work with.
We have the connections now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so.
But melee is where the mummy should be in, because he's all the attention.
Just something to remember, though, the mummy is still small enough. He's going to have to use that greatsword in both hands.
Okay. I doubt they hit.
5, I don't believe that's going to. 5 is not going to be hit.
No.
Well, you got 2 more swings.
2.
No.
That is not a hit.
3.
No.
That is not a hit.
He just can't hit the button. Never mind. That's Garfield's job.
Yeah.
Distraction.
Now, unlike the mummy, I do want to buff up Garfield along with myself.
Oh.
So I'm going to be casting greater deflection on myself and him, and greater protection, toughness on him and myself.
Okay.
Calculated it while it was your guys' turn. That would be 12.
Total for all of it.
Yep. And then I'm going to lie prone because, oh god, why?
That's not necessarily a bad idea.
It makes you harder to hit.
This is their job.
Yeah, lay down.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're going to just be shooting anyway, right? Or just to hide.
Alright, so spellcasting for, let's do...
Wouldn't have to be any like small rocks that you can get behind to free more cover.
Let's do deflection first.
Okay.
I'll take that 11.
Raise.
And protection.
It's a good thing.
That is also a raise.
Well, it's good to have the necromancer on our side.
Okay, so the protection, it is MDC, but it adds toughness instead of armor.
Yep.
So you'll have each of your guys will have 8 extra toughness.
And you counted as being mega damage, so you won't get horrible gritty damage.
Yep.
All right, so you did that, and you're going to go prone.
Yep. What's the symbol we're doing for deflection?
I mean, isn't that
That little like gray shield,
gray broken
right
shield?
next to the bird.
That one?
Yep.
I thought that was vulnerable, but whatever.
Oh, it is vulnerable, isn't it? It's cracked
Yeah,
shield.
whatever.
Yeah, I don't. We probably should use the other one then.
Let's use
Yeah, the one
This.
he already picked. Or that works too. The aura.
which one did you pick? Oh, well, let's use the shield for the protection, and the aura for the deflection. Does that make sense?
Yep. We'll switch to that, and we're all on the same
Okay.
page.
I'll give Garfield.
I
those
forgot
things
that
for
I
you.
made that one vulnerable. The cracked shield one. It's like, hey, that's a shield. Oh.
Okay. Okay. So now Garfield.
Garfield is going to.
And we're just gonna
Garfield
use-
has greater distance than the mummy, so he can definitely get to that other one. Which means, and he's going to pounce and improve frenzy. So,
Oh, of course. Do it.
because Garfield is the DPS in this little group.
He will get a +2 to that frenzy of attacks. And he can fall. I mean, you could also
and
frenzy out. You could have him do like 2 attacks and then 2 attacks and then 1, rather than 3 all at once. But yeah, either way, it's a leaping wild attack, so it'll be +2 to the attack and +4 to the damage.
Yep. All right. Fighting.
That
Nine.
is going to be hit.
Hit. Neat.
Oh darn! I forgot to do the thing.
That's okay. You can do the flurry. You can do it on your next one.
Can I just do 2 attacks?
Sure.
Number two.
Sure. Yeah,
Sorry.
we'll just take the the trait die.
We'll
rather
take
than
the
wild.
first
Sure.
wild die.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, then an 11 and does 7 hit.
The 7 will be just a hit, and the 11 will be a raise.
Woo!
So you will have a hit, a
All right,
raise,
so
and
2
a hit.
hits and a raise.
Yep.
Awesome.
So just define which one you want to do when you want to do the raise.
Let's do it in order. The 9, 11, 7.
Okay. So hit, raise, hit.
All right. So hit. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
That is not enough.
Not enough.
No
All
armor
right.
piercing, right? Yeah, no armor piercing.
Nope. A raise.
How about 30?
Oh! Oh!
He's dead.
30, 40, 34 actually. No, he's dead. I don't care. You're not a giant robot. You're dead.
He dead. Yeah. You're right. He dead.
Done dead.
All right.
So yep. And then you kind of were just using all your attacks on him, so you're kind of just.
Yep. That's fine.
But that's okay. All right. Well, now allow me to retort. The one that's next to the mummy is going to try. He is going to try an improved frenzy with his long swords.
I doubt
and
they're missing
offhand
fire.
attack
So.
with a spear. None of which will take any penalties because he's got a shit ton of stuff to make him be able to use all this.
Good for him.
Come on, no.
Does
Why
that...
did it? Oh, that's yeah. Bear with me.
Terry is 8, so no, that doesn't hit. Unless he's
Yeah.
got a bonus.
Well, this was supposed to be a flurry, so I'm going to do 2 more attacks. It was supposed to be a
You
flurry.
didn't have your setup to do that either.
I didn't have it set. I forgot to change that, but none of those hit.
None of those hit.
So
Not
then
like it would
his
matter even if you did.
well, yeah, but 2 and then 2 fisted with the spear, and that doesn't hit.
No. Dang, everyone's doing horrible except for Garfield.
So the others are
Right.
going to unload 2 to the mummy and 2 to Garfield with their
Okay.
TK rifles.
These bugs have
They're both negative ones.
Hey, Midnight, don't you feel at home? Well, there's a bunch of guys here with also that has 4 arms. So.
Yeah.
You're right. So against the mummy, it's
Garfield is
-1.
minus.
Yep.
Garfield is minus. Wait, I didn't boost the mummy though.
I did.
He's got nimble.
Oh yeah, he did. God dang, I forgot.
From the speed.
The speed is giving a -1 to hit.
Mm-hmm. Well, that might hit though.
Yeah.
3 out of the 4 hit, but it's the mummy, so it doesn't take any damage.
Oh,
But
sure.
they know now that it won't take any damage.
Let's see
Yeah.
here. I don't know if any of those actually beat his toughness though. His toughness is
Oh,
16.
well. Oh, yeah.
Oh wait, no.
Well, sure,
Armor
sure, but like nonetheless, it doesn't. They're not taking.
It's not.
It's pretty clear. It's pretty obvious, even to the unintelligent, that it's not doing any good if this thing's And then against Garfield at a -7, 1 shot. That's a hit.
Holy shit.
Holy shit, indeed.
Does 20 get through Garfield's 20 AP4 get through Garfield's toughness?
No, armor piercing doesn't do anything.
Oh, he doesn't have any. Okay, so yeah, so 20 does 20 toughness get through?
Oh, he does. Let's see here. Protection is.
What was his toughness?
So that would be 18, so it shakes him.
And he's undead.
He'll help
Yep.
+2 to unshake.
I would hope so.
Yep.
I hope he is.
No, I was just there's the
terrible luck.
undead quality is what I was looking at.
Yeah.
There's some random things in
There's a bunch of other stuff with that, yeah.
So he is shaken from that. That was the first shot from that warrior. Second shot does not hit, and then the other one's going to take 2 shots as well. They do not hit.
That one beat the odds, but not enough.
Not enough.
All
right.
Yeah, they're all minus. They're all negatives, so I would hope that's not.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy, he beat the odds there.
What?
He rolled 10.
Why are there bees in there?
I have no fucking clue.
What?
The turn order just
what the heck?
came
I
with
had the character sheet over it. Like, what?
a bunch of bees in there.
There we go.
Bees, my god!
I'm getting
All right,
ready
so
to
Midnight doesn't need a redraw. Mary gets 1 card.
And we all get bennies. We all get bennies.
Hell
I will-
yeah.
You can
I
deal
got the
it.
Joker!
I will deal them out. That way, no one gets them.
Okay.
It's fish. Spike. Deal. Okay.
Woohoo.
Fuck yeah.
All right. So you can do kind of whatever you want here. You can jump in whenever you want, or you can do stuff. So.
I'm just joking over here. I will go on Joker hold.
Okay.
Joker. So not actual hold, which is
Yep.
not as good as Joker. Wait, whenever.
Joker hold.
So
I'm in a Joker holding pattern.
the Warriors are going to focus all of their attacks on the mummy.
Okay.
They're going to focus. Actually, sorry, they're going to focus all their attacks on Garfield.
Yeah.
Poor Garfield.
So this one is going to move to there and do
Full range of attacks again.
a flurry, and then a spear.
I hope you don't lose
Does it have an
Garfield.
escape ability to get past my mummy?
What's that?
Just come on, we got a free
He
attack.
just walked away from being in melee with my mummy.
Yeah, the extraction. No, that's the other guy. No, you can give him attack. You can give him attack.
Come on, mummy.
Okay.
Sucker mummy.
No extraction for you. Oh,
Hey,
hit.
10?
So you can roll damage on that.
Cut his legs off. Yeah, probably not.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
not gonna.
Oh,
16.
Oh, I get what you did.
set
I get
all
what
my
you did. I
stuff
see
to
what you.
attack damage thing.
I see what you did. Yes, I see what you did there.
I keep forgetting that
16,
that's a thing.
16 and armor piercing 12. That is going to kill him.
hell yeah!
So he doesn't even make it to Garfield. He falls halfway over there.
But the other 4 are going to start salvoing Garfield again.
Ah! Are you bloody well kidding me?
Does 21?
Yeah.
18. Yeah, that's exactly enough to do a wound.
All right.
Which means bye-bye, Garfield.
So Garfield crumbles for now.
Dang it.
That guy was intending
That
to
is literally
shoot.
just enough to.
Yeah.
All right, he's going to shoot at. That first guy kind of was going to shoot at Garfield for that, so he's not going to get a second. But going to shoot one at Barry's Fish and one at Midnight, and then we'll see who gets the last pair of shots.
What are the range on those
Barry's
things?
Fish is. What's that?
Just make sure.
Oh, the range on those is 40.
40? Yeah, that's pretty good.
First range increments 40, yeah. So Barry's Fish, you have -4 from greater,
1 from nimble.
or you have -4 from deflection and -1 from nimble.
Yep.
Shot, and those don't hit. And I believe Midnight, you also have deflection.
Yep, mine's the same.
Same amount.
That will be a hit.
Woo! Ouch.
All right, 16 armor piercing 4.
I think that might be a wound.
Wounds are not good with the mega damage right now. We don't have mega damage protection up at the moment, so.
Yeah, not many.
Armor piercing 4, so that makes it really 20. Yeah, that would be a wound.
Okay.
Damn. And I'm
Would you like to
shaking.
soak that?
Yeah. Yes, I would. Come on, mouse. You just work. Nope, I guess not.
Okay, that is enough. Oh, you don't have a wound. You do not have a wound.
Yeah, you don't put that in until after you failed soak.
I always forget.
Yep. That's okay. That's okay, though. But you soak that one. So he's going to take
Great.
his second shot at you.
And miss!
And not hit. And so I'm going to roll a 1d2. 1 is Barry's Fish, and 2 is Midnight. Because you're same range away. So Midnight, you can take 2 more shots.
Bring it.
Oh, it's good thing he's not a wild card. But still
Yeah,
hits.
it's just 1 hit.
Ah,
Oh,
26.
damn it.
that's a lot. of
Holy
damage.
shit.
That exploded
So
too much.
30?
Explode a lot. With the armor, yeah.
Basically with armor piercing 4, yeah. If your armor's more than that.
So that would be, I guess, 3 wounds?
3 wounds.
Ouch. I
Um,
wish
Right.
you luck on the soaking here.
You.
Can I?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
You could have like before. As you was like, I could take another shot at Midnight. You could have jumped in and like, I'm going to shoot him first.
Yeah,
Right.
you could have, but yeah.
Right, I was thinking I could come in and boost his spirit die, but hey, he soaked 2 of the wounds.
That's 2, so you only got 1, but it is mega damage, so we are going to have to
Gritty
roll on-
damage.
Just 1 away too.
Yeah.
I believe it's just the injury table, right?
Yeah. That injury, and it
I think
just
we rolled
becomes
just
temporary.
Yeah, it's temporary, but we were just rolling the injury table, right?
Right. Yep, just roll.
Okay, so roll a 12, Brett, or 2d6. Sorry,
2d6.
2d6.
Yeah.
11. So you get the minor slow hindrance. It gets you in the leg.
So you're speeding, but you.
Well, he's flying, so it's yeah, it's slow. Is it affect his all paces, or just like his slow only counts?
No,
on the
it
ground?
it is a leg hit.
Yeah, so while you're flying, it
So-
doesn't slow you down up there, but
It's not gonna slow you down, but while you're on the ground, it will slow you down. I believe it's one less pace and one less run die.
yeah.
Damn.
So that's what he did. I think that's all those shots that they were going to level at you guys. Because the one died. So I'm going to continue to move Spike down the line. Midnight, you are shaken.
You have a +1 to unshake because I'm a good
You're
leader.
within- Yep.
No,
Yep.
I'm going to
Yep.
jump in before his turn and
Okay.
take my turn.
Okay. You can
I'm
totally
just
do
trying
that.
to decide what I want to do. Can I see a large burst template?
Sure, I'll grab one.
Thank you.
You can easily get 2, I'm sure,
Copy.
with that.
I'm just going to bring, I'm going to bring all of them.
Might as well while
Yeah.
you're there.
Yeah.
You said large burst template?
Yeah. Is there any way? They're just not quite close enough that I could hit
Get 3.
even 3 of them
No.
with it.
It's that, like, I would say, yeah, I would probably, like, that's really close. I would want a second opinion whether or not you could do 3 on that. Because that could.
Oh,
Actually,
well,
no.
they're all
Actually, no.
touched by it.
That totally does it.
Yeah.
Any
That
part.
does? Okay.
any part
I'm
under
not
there.
sure.
Yep.
Any part. Okay. Good call. Okay. So that is a large burst template. That,
Okay then.
3 of them.
That
Do it.
changes. Yeah. I would like to rush over to Midnight and heal him, and then
Okay.
I'd like to move.
Further.
Yeah, because I mean I can essentially go 24 inches, right?
Yes, with half pace once you hit the dark.
Got it. Okay, that's what.
And I would say that, like, honestly, once you would probably need to be about here. You would need to be about where, like, Garfield, kind of the same level as Garfield and the Mummy, to actually hit those guys.
Yes.
Just to see over the.
I can move twice, right? With all this speed and
you could
everything.
move
Yeah, you could
At
break
any
it up.
point in time, there's no spring attack anymore. Yeah,
Okay.
no spring attack,
So-
no shot on the run.
So I mean I can easily get to there with all that, right?
Looks like it to me, I think.
With 24 pace, I can move to him
There's
for
4.
roughly
4.
4 inches, and then
There's 7.
Let's just say 7.
and then about
7
so
for
that puts
easy.
me at 11. So I have at half pace.
5.5
If I have
left.
24, I have 13 move spaces I can move, so I can move.
You could move 7.5. Yeah, so you could
Oh, yeah.
easily
You can definitely
easily
get that.
get to where I said you needed to be. So yeah,
Yep.
I would say yeah. You need to be just kind of along that, you know.
Okay. Then I would like to.
Kind of. Can you see my line?
Yeah.
Yep.
I would say that's about where you need to be to see them.
Okay. I would like to come up, cast healing on him, then come up to here, cast slumber on these 3,
Yes.
and I can't quite reach this last guy, so I will.
You can spend 1 to increase the range.
Yeah, I can. I would like to instead cast protection on myself, though.
Cool.
Good idea.
I think
Mhm.
so.
So the
In
healing,
case
you
any
will
of-
only have the wound penalty to the healing roll.
Yep.
These things have been rolling absurdly. So,
Oh,
good idea.
yeah. Bad luck come anytime. So let me look at the thing and see if there's any. Let's see. Havoc healing. Okay, I don't need to do any special healing. Do a regular healing.
Regular should be fine. As long as he's healed, the injury will get rid of itself once the wound is healed. So
Yep.
you don't need to do greater.
Yeah. So I will. I'm actually at 42 right now. Okay, I will cast healing. First, I'll go over to him. Oops. Go over to him.
What a pal, what a man, what a guy.
Cast
Hello?
healing.
Hello? Are you still there, Jordan?
Hello?
Jordo, are you on the phone? Because we can hear you.
Yes.
Kind of coming through double, but
Well, I think he probably got a phone call,
yeah.
which for some reason Discord doesn't just stop playing
Right.
it. It just plays you way quieter while you're on a phone call. It's like, why?
Yeah.
But we don't need him for the healing roll. We one to this healing roll. Hey, buddy, you're all healed.
Yay!
Hooray, thank you.
Just
Your leg is unshot up.
Yes. The bullet sucks out.
yeah, just works its way out and pops out. We've seen that in X-Men movies
Yeah.
and several animes probably too.
And we're gonna cast Slumber. Oh, that cost me. Oops.
Was that your which one was which? The healing was the 11?
Yep.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I got called on. I got a phone call. I heard Brandon trying to explain some of it.
Yep. I got the healing roll, so obviously he's healed. We figured we didn't need you there to figure if that would work.
And your injury goes away.
Okay, so slumber will be 6 for
that one. That one has a resist, I believe, right?
It does. That's why I'm gonna add the mega modifier for greater slumber, and I will. It feels like I should just add in the +2 since it's a opposed raise, or is it? No, it's just a spirit. It's not opposed.
Yeah.
So
Not opposed.
No, it's not. It
just helps you get get another raise though.
But if you're doing the greater, the greater is definitely good.
I will. Yeah. So I will. That'll cost 6 all told. So let's go ahead and cast that.
Come on.
Where was it?
Oh, are you moving up to that? You're moving up to where you need to be.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Somewhere up in there.
Right around here.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
Let's cast Slumber.
Fall asleep.
And I will take 11.
So is that -4 to their save then, with the raise and
it
the
sure
greater?
is.
It is.
It sure is.
Make a spirit roll at -4. Okay, well, those 3 will do that. So we will go 1.
Nope.
Fail.
2.
Fail.
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 Progressively worse every time.
3 out of 3. Sleeping bug.
They were like in a contest to see who could fall asleep faster.
Apparently.
And now I'll go ahead
Protection.
Cast protection, probably the really good one.
You're doing greater protection with toughness.
I think so. That seems like a good idea.
Yeah, that's.
They're doing
I mean,
mega damage.
it's not a bad idea with these guys that you're up against. That's
They got
true.
some nasty
Yep.
weapons here.
I think I will add more armor as well. So
You cannot.
You can actually combine toughness and the armor modifier.
You cannot combine toughness and more armor.
oh, I see. Okay.
So you can do greater with toughness so that you can get 6 or 8, but you can't combine that with toughness.
Okay.
What? You can't combine.
Yeah, they
There's
have.
something you
You
can't
can't
combine.
combine. You can't combine more armor with greater protection because greater protection is just the better version.
Oh, you're right.
You can't make a toughness.
Greater may be combined with toughness, but not more armor. Right. Sorry, I had it backwards,
Yeah.
but it
So
doesn't
did I.
matter. It's the same.
Yeah, but we got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was
So I
something they
can
couldn't
do-
combine.
You
so
can
I
do greater with
toughness
toughness.
and greater protection.
Yes.
I think
Right.
that's the only spell that's the only mega modifier power that specifies that. So
That I know.
technically, for Bolt, you would be able to do that.
So I am at.
But good luck getting
5.
GM to do that.
That'll cost me 5. Boom.
Okay.
Protection. Ouch. I'll go ahead and reroll that for free.
That's a
Yeah,
good idea.
mind melter free.
I'll take
So you get a success. So you got
just
6
this
tough.
basic success. Yep, I'll take that.
6 MDC toughness.
6 toughness.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Poor Garfield.
Right.
It wasn't enough.
I know.
They rolled a
You can
ugly
find that
5.
lovely shield with the lightning bolts on it.
Oh yes, I can put that on there for you, dude.
That's 10 rounds for him.
Yep. Which I'm just putting a 0 on
Yep,
it.
that's what I did on mine too.
It's like because it can't.
Yeah, highest you can go is
It
9.
really doesn't miss it. Okay.
Done.
Right.
That's my turn. Oh God, hang on. We didn't add a +2 to any of that. Not that it only matters on the last one, but that does give me a raise for my Joker.
You're right. You did get the Joker.
It does.
You're not wrong
A
at all.
raise.
All right, so
Joker.
it's 8.
And I feel like you're kind of close enough that you would have re-rolled even on the basic success for the protection. So
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
yep, you got the extra on that. Good call. Well remembered. Good for you, dude.
I was just like, haha, good Joker round. Wait, I didn't do anything Joker.
Yeah.
But also, the other two things I had,
You
the
did.
other two,
Yeah, you didn't need it.
but the other 2 things I had, so it didn't matter.
Crushed it.
Okay.
Oh
Midnight,
yeah,
you are
8
no longer
more 8 more
injured,
tough.
wounded, or shaken. So
He's Midnight's still shaking.
Hi, friend.
Hooray!
I'm a good cactus ally.
Yeah, technically Midnight's still
Uh,
shaking. The healing doesn't get rid of shaking.
it doesn't.
No.
Okay, sorry.
Soaking does.
Soaking. Okay, so you will have to unshake.
+1 from me.
Got it.
You're in my command range.
Your legs are a little jelly from getting shot.
Succeeds.
Woo!
Woohoo!
I knew.
Okay.
Yeah, and you didn't even have the 1, so that's good.
I didn't even think about it, but High Noon, I feel like you need to be in a gunfight at some point. I mean, your name
Right?
is too perfect.
It's like it's in the movie The Puppet Master. There's the gunslinger puppet that has like 6 arms.
I didn't know
And
that.
I like High Noon, he's got all the arms. It's like, haha, I've got a gun in front of you, a gun beside you, and a gun behind you.
Oh boy. What you want
It's
to
a
do
good-
with your awesome
Well, I think I can only get close enough to cast a bolt, so I'll probably just
You have
do that.
because you flying because Mel and I figured out flying. You can do a D6 run die for flying, but the
It's
speed
not-
power does not affect the flying
speed
phase.
does not
it's not doubled. Okay.
No, flying pace
And
does not
it's
affect
not.
the
It does, and you don't ignore the running or anything either.
Well,
Now,
That's okay.
you could potentially create a power or trap the power so that it affects flying pace, but then it wouldn't affect ground.
Yeah.
I mean, you could land and run on the ground faster.
Right. But I can get close enough.
Yeah,
That's
you can get
fine.
in range just by moving 12, so I believe.
Are you just zapping the one that's awake?
Yep.
You can
Cool.
shoot 3 bolts at it, though, with no penalty, I believe. So.
Well, I'm glad I chose to go before you.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
me
Heal him
too.
up. And...
Yeah, the
So you-
ones that are asleep are definitely prone. They have dropped their weapons. Except it seems like the guns are attached to them.
I'm going to
Not necessarily like they're like, you know, they're like clamped onto their arm or something. It's not like a part of their body.
Sure.
I'm going to, instead of casting 3 bolts, I'm going to first boost my electrical aura with 3 ISP to make it mega damage.
Thumbs up. You've got MDC armor now, so that's good.
Yes. And then I will cast 2 like overpower bolts. So they're 4d6,
Woo!
5d6 with
Okay.
a raise. Okay.
Yeah.
Do it. Sweetness.
Well, that's a
hit.
hit and raise.
That'll do.
All right.
Wow.
And that's a lot of damage.
28 damage of lightning.
8. That's gonna fry him
Crispy.
cold. He is crispy
Roasted
critter.
bug.
Good. Well, let's make short work of these.
Yeah, while they're before they wake up, because if we make too much
Yeah.
noise, they have a
So
chance to wake
you
up.
still have 2 actions. I mean, you were gonna shoot at least one more bolt, right?
Yes.
If you want to shoot a bolt at another target within range, you could. But you do not have to.
You don't want to accidentally wake them up. If you-
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you
we want to get into
shoot
it.
at them, even if you miss, there's a good chance they'll wake up. Like, I mean,
I can
that's
do more damage if I get closer. This was sort of a lucky
Yeah, I just
roll.
I could, like, as long as
Lots
we're
of
quiet
explosions
enough,
on both
you know, I could walk up and just stick my side sword through all their skulls and be fine.
Yep. Sounds good to
I
me.
think I will land on the ground with them, and then that will be the end. I won't cast another bolt.
I mean, hey, that the efficient use of your ISP.
Yeah, I don't have as much to throw around as you do.
Well, I mean,
you are a major though. Like you are
but
a
you,
major.
but you killed them in one shot. You can't be mad that you killed them in one shot. And now you got
Oh,
nothing else.
nope.
to do.
Mm-mm.
Like, well, I was too efficient, too deadly, and I guess I don't have anything else to do.
So Buried Fish, you can give during your turn. You can give commands to Erica if you need her to do anything. I keep forgetting she's still technically in, but she wasn't gonna join in. Essentially, she wasn't gonna get close until this shit was handled.
Right. Well, it's
the
all
vehicle
happening
she
so
has-
fast. I may not know that they're all taken care of at this point as I'm moving
You
up.
couldn't see. You probably can't see them all. That's for sure.
So-
Like you're not quite high enough on
So
them.
I'm running. Let's see, what's my full amount of running? Because I'll probably run up there, and that's when I would then notice like, oh, that's all taken care of, and so but let's see how far I can actually go. 18 doubled.
So 36. Well, here, let's see how far you can get to. So I mean, like you basically got 32 divided by 2. So you got 16 inches that you can travel once you actually hit the bluff.
16 once I hit the bluff.
Or 15, 16. It's between 4 and 5 inches to there. So we will be generous since they're asleep.
All right. Well, I will just
Get that guy. You have the drop. If you want to perform a coup de grace, we can just you can do a coup de grace.
Yeah. Yep.
We don't need to roll anything. We'll just
Yep.
assume that you are. He has no chance to resist.
Yep.
When you do that, Barrett's fish, being that you are the first person who has been adjacent to one of these things when it dies,
Oh no!
It blows up.
It lets off a very stinky excretion when it dies, and it's sort of kind of like sprays on you, and you can smell it. It smells terrible.
Yeah, but it bounces off my deflection.
Oh, it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't actually hurt you. It's just a smell.
Yeah.
But yes. It's there. You have a field of kinetic reverberation around you.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All
right.
Giant stink bugs.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So I don't see any more out here, any like burrow holes or anything else that I need to worry about.
You don't, but someone's gonna go now.
The mummy has already. Oh, never mind.
More powerful.
I don't see it on. Oh no, is it behind me? No. Oh, there it is.
Uh-oh.
This
Still
one
in the
Can I
armpit.
see that?
going to. This one is going to use wonderful new icons because it's going to fly up.
Okay.
And it's going to take, let's see, it's only got, I don't think it has two-gun kid. So it's going to take a shot at, Barrett's fish because he's just the main target and then fly away.
Gotta warn the hive. No.
You've got -5 though from your deflection and nimble. So he does not hit. And he is going to fly off that direction for his turn, at least, for now.
Yep.
Mary,
it's getting
basically
away.
in like, yeah, it's getting away. At least for now.
Oh, I have something cruel and unusual I could do.
Does the hive?
I could just order the mummy. To follow and kill all of those bugs, and it would just keep doing that.
Do you want to do
does it forever?
Yeah.
Do you want it to do that? If you do that, you may
I want to
potentially
do that though. Yeah, I might lose the mummy.
just simply because it will be off doing things beyond your, you don't have a mind link or anything. So, but if you want to do that, hey, that's unique and an option that I hadn't even considered.
Do either the train hopper guy with the rail gun, would he have a parting shot? Maybe he could try to hit that thing as it's flying away. He's got the range for that.
Or extras.
I don't think there's any weapons on the
Yeah,
hover
I'm
car.
gonna look because they're basically where Erica is. So let's. If you want them to take a shot, yeah.
Yeah, I'd want him to take a shot because the railguns have pretty good range, so he probably can at least make the attempt.
So yeah, Mary, why don't you go? Or actually, like, we will have those guys being on hold for now. We'll just see if they can hit with one shot. We'll see.
Yeah, one of them had the grenade launcher. I don't know if it's got the range, but
it doesn't have. Yeah, it does. It's only like 18, I think.
Yeah.
Mary would probably be more concerned about gathering up what remains of Garfield. So the mummy would just keep doing what it was ordered to do first, and that is kill the bugs.
Well, that's the first hit. That's the first hit. So it's going to get a hit, and then we're going to do 2 more because I forgot to reset.
Oh yeah, rate of fire.
So actually, yeah, since he is wielding it with a power armor, he takes no recoil penalty, so he's going to hit with all of those.
Bye, bug.
Except that, or no, actually, yeah, these guys don't have dodge. That's the other guy. So we will raise, raise. AP 5, 13 damage. is enough to get him. We'll see how much harder he hits. Yep.
Oh, shit.
Oh, he's dead.
That
Yep,
last one did it, yeah.
He didn't make it back to the hive to warn him.
Parting shots. You're not sure about any hive, but definitely parting shots. It's not going anywhere.
I don't know if there's a hive yet, but I know enough that
and then
I'm worried
just
about it.
Sort of as kind of fluff, both of the terrain hoppers will kind of move in that direction.
Sure.
Kind of quartering so that they can get a little bit farther south and west of you guys to maybe,
just in case.
Prevent someone else from sneaking out of this crevasse, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mary.
Mary would just go and just gather your best to gather the pieces that remain of.
Oh, and you sent the mummy to just coup de grace
loyalty.
those guys, basically.
Yeah, the mummy, she wouldn't have given any more orders, so it would have just gone
to
back.
kill them and
just kept killing bugs.
Nope, and that works. That works. So they are all, as far as you know, they are all dead. Why don't you make an occult roll to see? I mean, technically, your skeleton is totally destroyed. When it dies, it's destroyed. But why don't you make an occult roll to see if there's anything you can sort of recover, maybe for components or something.
Who knows? Maybe one day I'll make a chimera from all my dead animals.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, maybe.
I mean, they all let me use their bodies already, so.
Well, most of them have been predatory animals too, so that's something to consider. Most of their spirits don't really concern themselves. So why don't you make an occult roll to collect things? Yeah, the skull is definitely still intact. So you're at least able to get the skull. But they kind of they cut through most of the body and the limbs with their techno-wizard rifles. Which are not actually, they're Barry's fish getting up and looking at these things has no idea how they work.
No.
But
some weird biological weapon.
Yeah, you guys would guess that you'd maybe be able to use them, but they would need some modification by a techno wizard to actually let you power them. But they seem to be dead. So now that everyone is dead, that you can tell, what would you like to do?
From the smell?
Yeah.
I don't know if I even smell since I don't breathe.
Well, the smell. Once they mention it, I believe Midnight and Midnight and Spike both got raises on their common knowledge. You would recognize it as their death scent.
It could draw more.
Whenever they're killed, they let off a scent.
Yeah, that might signal more to come.
Yeah.
Which you're guessing that one of them actually got killed at the farm, and that's probably why the smell was there.
Sure, makes sense.
All right.
But yeah, thus far you can't really see anything here, but there's definitely some crags and crevasses in this plateau or bluff here.
Let's do a quick search around this area for any other clues or anything, but otherwise we can assume that if they captured any people from the farm, if we kind of go in the direction of the one that flew off, we'd probably find them. But and
actually you don't even have to go that far. Kind of where that hunter, the one that was kind of hiding, was hiding down here. Yeah, there's a little cave, and you find a lot of you find the things that they couldn't digest.
Oh.
And it's really unfortunate.
Man.
There aren't really many things left, and it does look like they were kind of trying to create some sort of hive here, but it seems like something was affecting whatever the goo is that they make the hive out of, and it was starting to rot it. So you think that if they hadn't, even if you hadn't killed them, they probably would have not been able to repopulate. And after you kind of see the hive as gross, looking closer at the the warriors that you brought down and the hunter, it looks like they're also kind of infected with whatever this grossness is.
Mm.
They've got some spots on their exoskeletons, and
It's too hot for them here.
Well, you're not. I mean, you're not. None of you guys are really bioscientists, but
I am.
definitely,
No, I'm
what's
lying.
that?
I said I am. No, I'm lying.
Live.
If you want to, you could bring some of the bodies back. But knowing what you know, they would potentially leave a trailing scent.
Yeah, no. We got some imaging
no,
equipment
that's not...
or anything on just take some pictures or something.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Just
Erica
so we have,
would actually have plenty of stuff.
So we could just have what are these weird spots on these things? That seems like some weird disease. So maybe somebody just by looking at it can get something off of that. But other than that, we don't wanna...
Erica comes up with her little scanner. She's got like a multi-spectral scanner, like a scientific thing, and then the Un, the guy with the railgun, also comes up and does some recording with the built-in imaging system on his power armor. And he is brave enough and sort of stoic enough that he also does recording of the sort of the hive chamber that they were trying to make, so that it's verification of death for the people that were on that farm.
Well, I don't think we could have got here fast enough to do anything. They'd been missing for a while anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they've probably been dead for several days. I mean, they've probably been dead for several.
Yeah.
Realistically, the only way
it is when missing people.
We took care of the threat from.
And you probably can get some more people to work the farm. You're not sure about the cows, but you would guess based on what you found that their cattle are still probably out in the fields grazing.
My OBS just disconnected from the stream, by the way.
Oh yes. What's that? Is that
reconnected? So my internet was going slow. So there was going to be a slight glitch in the stream. We probably only lost a few seconds, but it looks like it's back.
Okay. Well, no worries. I don't think we lost anything important. You will be able to get some pictures, some verification there.
I would like to do my standard send off of the spirits.
Okay, why don't you do your divination here? Oh, that was your divinate. No, yeah, divinate, yeah. Yes, the people. Some of the spirits of the people who have died are still here. And they were lingering, looking for vengeance, but once they realized that you have exacted vengeance, presumably in their name, they move on, up or down, whichever direction they are most is most relevant.
Sideways.
Up, down, sideways.
Sideways.
They've got the one. They hop in the walkometer. It can go up ways and down ways and sideways and crossways.
Fifth dimension ways. There's.
Yeah, but they definitely, they don't necessarily thank you, because you can tell, with some of the it's more than just like, just letting them go. There's a little bit of conversation, and some of them are kind of pissed that you didn't get here sooner. But some of them also sort of realize, some of them kind of realize that, well, this is a dangerous place. This is what we signed up for, and well, we died.
Yeah. I do question
pretty much the first sign of any trouble in Rift is someone winds up dead.
Yeah.
And someone can be lost with someone.
I'm questioning the idea of having a farm this far away from any other protection. It's how long it took us to get here. I mean, there's not without this kind of mountainous area, it's gonna be hard to find places that actually have soil that can grow anything. But
well, and the farm was more related. It was actually more of a ranch. I mean, I call it a farm, but it was more
it's a ranch.
Lots of cattle and stuff.
It's mostly ranching, but I was just wondering if why it was so far away.
Well, If you discuss it with some of the armored guys, they would say, it wouldn't take much to set up some automated defenses. That place was essentially defenseless. Like all the guns were in the bunkhouse.
Yep.
Un and Deuce are both just like,
I'm sure.
I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but they were not prepared for living in the wild.
And even if they did have automated defenses, they came from underground inside of the building. Those wouldn't have helped anyway. At least keeping them alive, killing their murderers, yes.
But yeah, we'll try to since if we can spare some Tomorrow Legion assets, and we start rebuilding this farm, get more people out here. I mean, they got to find new livestock anyway. So, but
and that's the thing. It based on the fact that you didn't really find any livestock remains, you would guess that, like they said, like some of them had been caught, but they might just still be out in the field.
Yeah.
So you might just need some cowpokes to go
round them up,
rustle them up,
get them back there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll have some Tomorrow Legion help guard the farm. I'm sure the town relies on some of this food coming in. I mean, they get a lot.
They
get a lot of it off the trade road, but
yeah, Jacoby would get some of his beef from them. Just local. And some of them would have been, once you get back to town, you would know that some of them were kind of known to some of the remaining locals, and they would be sad, but they would be happy that you avenge them in so much as one can. Would you like to do anything to this area, or kind of anything special before you head back to New Durango?
Well, should we burn these Zytixix bodies?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like,
just in case there's a few that are still around the area, like
it might throw off some of the scent.
It might cause other things. Maybe I think if we gotta set them on fire, I think it's probably a good idea.
They're already smelling to hell hot to
Erica says
anyway,
that she has some. Erica says she was able to. She has some seismic charges. If you want to, you could just put them in that cave and then just collapse the cave on them.
Okay.
That would be a good way to, some plasma mining charges.
Cool. Let's take care of that. I'll say my character doesn't know much about the area, but it looks like New Durango is going to be having to rely even more heavily on Joseph City for their animal products until we get this place up and going again.
Yeah. And it takes Erica a little while to actually get it set up, but she is able to rig. She's able to rig some seismic charges that will essentially immolate everything inside the cave and collapse it. So hopefully, if there's some sort of death scent, it shouldn't get out of the collapsing.
Nicely done, Erica.
And she says, "Well, you guys did all the work. I just did the driving." She doesn't seem very comfortable around these things, though. She seems very she's clueless, and the clueless I'm playing it as she's just she's essentially the only member of her family who hasn't who's left home.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just she's kind of ditzy. When the heat is on and when when the pressure is on, she's generally okay, but she's just kind of ooh, gross, She has no problems with facing down Broadkill in a robot, but if she sees a cockroach on her floor, she squeals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
Then the Radrookers come and she faints dead.
All right, let's make our way back to New Durango then.
Alrighty.
And we'll have to tell the sheriff to see if they can round up some cowpoke to go see if they can find the horses and cattle that got out.
I think we can do something about that. I think we can do something about that. It's a shame about that ranch, but I think we can make sure that their hard work is not laid to waste. So I'll see what I can do about getting some getting some locals and talking to your Lieutenant Gren to see if he can maybe get some better defenses. It seems like what I've heard from those pilots that went out with you, that farm, well, they didn't seem to have as many defenses as they told us they did. They started working for us. They said they were well protected, but a half dozen laser rifles isn't protection in my book.
No. Not when you're dealing with an interdimensional hive mind bug race.
And even before, like halfway through what you're saying, he just holds up his hand and says, "I don't want to hear it."
Yeah.
Just kind of like that's your guys' job, you know. We will. Let's see. Is everyone players? I put back to North America.
Yeah, we're back.
Everyone's back to New Durango. That really, I mean, you get back at night. It's sun's going down by the time you get back.
Sure.
Sun's going down, big guy.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I think it's even funnier when Thor says it. I think it's the funniest when Thor says it.
Totally.
Sun's going down. Sun's going down.
That's the best. Anyway.
Going down. Sun is going down. Almost down.
So you guys get back, and Fletcher's been doing a pretty good job of getting everyone kind of like to work together, at least in terms of, you know, getting along. The locals, you know, Fletcher's one of the guys that helped fix whatever the problem was, so the locals treat him all right. There's been some disagreements amongst some of the armored troopers and one of the bars that isn't Jacoby's. There's a couple small, you know, like hole-in-the-wall taverns. Mm-hmm. And the armored guys think that they should get a discount, and the bartender doesn't think they should. So there's a little bit of a scuffle, but no one died, and only 3 of them went to the drunk tank, so...
All right. Well, I'm going to have to put a stop to that stuff. We're guests here, even though we are going to be... We could be running this place, so that's not what we're here for.
So how would you like to deal with those folks?
Well, they're gonna do some extra cleaning and types of work, you know.
Okay, they're gonna get the shit work. Okay,
get some shit work for a while, you know.
These guys are since they're all sort of armored, you know, power armor and robot pilots. Probably the best shit work is just assign them to the Porcupine Command technicians, and they'll just make them carry shit all day.
Carry shit, make them wipe stuff down, carry.
Yep.
All kinds of stuff like that. So, yep, that's what they're going to do for their punishment.
Especially since we're setting up stuff.
And
especially since we're setting up and building, that's going to be a lot of stuff like that.
Let me look at Gren, and let's see how Gren feels about it. Gren is a bit frustrated at the bar for not giving them the discount. And he justifies it by saying, you know, we're here doing a lot of work and we're not getting paid much. So, you know, the least the town can do is pay the people who are keeping them alive. But we can't afford to have these guys making us look bad. So, I wish you would maybe check with me next time, but you did the right thing and you are in charge. So, you know.
Right. Once we get settled around here, I'm sure we'll start being able to get some discounts and stuff too, but...
And he just shrugs and says Jacoby treats him all right. So as long as they just go to Jacoby.
Yeah.
He seems like an all right fella.
That's right. We already got it in with Jacoby good.
Kind of as an afterthought, he says, now you do now the three that got into the scuffle, the reason they don't go to Jacoby's is because they don't like non-humans. So
understandable.
Perhaps we may need to be a little bit more conscious about who it is that we assign to certain jobs right now. They're still getting used to working with a team. He kind of shrugs and says half these guys were mercenaries before they worked with me, so yeah. I'll do what I can.
I have full confidence that you'll be able to whip those boys into shape and gals.
And he gives you a very gracious like nod and smile and says, "Oh yeah, you can count on it. You can count on it, sir." He says, both as an officer and as a cyber knight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of anything else that comes up here. Let me look through my notes here. You do actually, couple things actually. When you so you guys have a good night's sleep. You were able to successfully, at least solve the mystery. It's unfortunate that it did not end as pleasantly as fairy tales, but some fairy tales are Hans Christian Andersen, Little Mermaid, and that's the way it goes.
Now you make me cry.
Oh, yeah. The next
Some
day,
fairy tales are the actual fairy tales.
yeah. So the next day, you do you start hearing rumors. There's kind of rumblings that some people found some gold, and these are just stories, but they're traveling really fast. Seems like everybody's talking about these guys that found some gold. And the only thing that they can really know is that the only person, there's this Sclavi fella. Apparently there's this fella named Sclavi, and he knows where the gold is. And apparently there's some people going out looking for this Sclavi, trying to find out where the gold is. And they never come back. So it's kind of a
surprise. It's a surprise.
No one's really concerned because the people going out to look are generally ne'er-do-wells or drifters. But that gold could do a lot of good for New Durango.
Yeah, something could be happening to them, or maybe they did find it and they've moved on to better things.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you find all the gold, you don't need to come back.
No.
So
why would you want to come back here to this?
Yes, totally. It totally is not some sort of ancient evil.
There's a lot of different stories about gold in this area. Let me find my little bit here. It's new.
Why are there so many lost treasures in this place?
It's a good area for lost treasures.
Dozen different.
Because people will find a treasure and then they're out of here, so it just becomes more long.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we? We're in Utah.
We're in Colorado. Utah's not too far away.
Or no, yeah. Okay, so there's actually quite a few stories about gold in this area. Obviously, like the most popular one is Montezuma's gold. Aztec gold that was taken from their places before the conquistadors arrived, and squirreled into holes somewhere in various places in the southwestern United States. There's also the legend of Emperor Maximilian of Mexico. Supposedly had a boatload of gold and silver and gems, but was ambushed by Confederates who stole it. There's some legends of Wells Fargo stagecoaches filled with gold being found places. Those are just the main ones that but the lure and allure of gold is big out here. And I mean, gold, even in post-apocalypse, is still worth kind of as much as it was before. So that's some information that you would have gotten.
Rumors and rumors of rumors.
Yes, well, the only real lead you have is there's a fella named Sclavi, who's supposedly an old kind of an old panhandler and prospector, who apparently knows where all this gold is, but anytime anyone goes and talks to him, they just don't seem to show up again.
Well, we're going to have a word with this guy, I think.
Which, to the question, how does anyone know that Sclavi knows if no one comes back?
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out next time.
Indeed.
So, join us
on Rifts of the Old West.
Rifts of the Old West. Playing here on Roll20. Check it out, roll20.net for all your virtual tabletopping needs. check out peginc.com for everything Savage Worlds, including the amazing Riffs for Savage Worlds setting. And for the original Riffs books, check out palladiumbooks.com and everything that they're doing over there. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back another time.